Well, it's been a quiet week here in Lake Scabagon, my hometown. This week, the Squids continue their adventures in the unconventional interviews by sitting down with Eric Stevenson of the band Pocket Vinyl. They discuss the band, the benefits of having a painter, answer listener questions, talk about playing shows in a planetarium, have deep, heartfelt conversations, and some out-of-this-world ones as well.
I'm curious for all of you how where you fall in the coconut spectrum. If you are into a lot of coconut, a little coconut, I myself personally do not like any.
Zero coconut. That's a big double zero.
In my beverages, pretty much no.
In general, no.
So I had a friend who used to do this, so I tried it myself. That he was a home brewer who brewed at a really high level, and he did an experiment where he took his beer and he drilled out a bunch of coconuts and emptied them of their coconut water and aged his beer in actual coconuts.
In
the coconut. And then because he had equipment, he bottled them and then added CO2 back in to recarbonate it after it had gone still because it was sitting in the coconuts. And it's pretty good, actually. He made a big imperial stout. And then he put it in the coconuts. And so then I just took bottles and dumped them in a coconut and put it in my fridge and drank it flat. And I thought it was a good experiment. It's pretty tasty. I like coconut, though.
I've heard if you put the lime in the coconut and... Let me get this straight. You put the lime in the coconut and you shake it all up. That's all I know.
Then you have sparkling water.
That's right. Okay.
That's what it was. Yeah.
And this is where we insert Joe just saying, just stop.
Just stop. Just stop. I wish we could.
That's going to happen so much now, isn't it?
I have it saved. So
yeah, we can just use it as whenever we need to. Insert roofer here.
Yeah.
I love it.
I had this idea in the last week, guys, that it would probably make people mad, but I think it would be funny. Is if we just started promoting our own brand code, discount codes, but we just took somebody's off a different podcast every week and was and shared their discount code as if it was our discount code.
That's right.
And so it would actually work.
Brother.
Yes. So we just cherry picked from other podcasts their promo codes. I mean, no one really gets harmed because if somebody buys it, they still get a kickback and the discount still gets applied. So it's still a win.
The only harm done is to us.
But I think it would be funny if we positioned ourselves as if we had actual working promo codes, but we just borrowed them from successful podcasts who have ads.
I mean, let's say it this way. It's a win-win because the advertisers, they don't have to pay us any money. Though they could if they want to. And they get, extra advertising for free.
Yeah. On your athletic greens.
Athletic greens.
That's right. Just use code NPR.
Promo code net positive.
I think it could work. We have voicemails, Kevin. Am I looking at this right?
Hey, we do. We have 3 voicemails.
That's what I was noticing.
Happy Failure Pedal Friday.
And also with you.
And also with your spirit.
Indeed. All right. Here they come.
What's up, the Coug? It's Brock. I just want to let you know, bloviate. That is a word that I am familiar with because it's what I do. Good day.
Wow. And good day.
And also
new recurring guest.
I said good day.
Said good day.
You did.
Former co-host, current recurring guest.
Recovering co-host.
Brock called in. Yeah. Thank you for bloviating weekly.
Sounds like a personal problem.
Yeah, I think they sell medicine for that.
Hey, Squids. This is Josh Lawless, a.k.a. the Southern Mitch Hedberg.
Oh, yeah.
Just wanted to let y'all know that I pulled the trigger and I bought tickets for the screening movie show of Squad 5-0 down in Savannah,
Hell
Georgia.
Yeah.
So who's ever coming, looking forward to hanging out with you. I have a brilliant idea that we should make up some flyers that promote the Pickle and Boot Shop and a Pickle Home Companion, and we could just walk amongst the people handing them out saying, here, you throw this away.
Well, this is exciting.
This is awesome. Dare I say, our next co-host of a Pickle Home Companion.
Honorary squid for the weekend for sure, right?
Yeah.
And apparently head of our street team marketing efforts.
I dig this. Here, you throw this away. It's even better with that drawl.
Oh yeah. Nice. That'll be awesome.
That's awesome. It's gonna be fun, a lot of fun.
That's exciting news. Oh my gosh, and that's coming up here in a month.
It's about 4 weeks, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
I like how he called in to tell us too. I like his presentation method. Thank you, Josh.
And to give us ideas for. I mean, you know what? If you were going for the street team, you're hired.
Yeah, got the job.
Let me look at these other applications first. Oh wait, nope, you're good.
It's the new method on this show. You just propose what you're gonna do, and then that's your audition. And obviously, the interview process is pretty smooth.
Right.
Hi guys, it's Anna.
Hey.
I am driving down the road, and I thought I would take this opportunity to give you a call and share some of the highlights of the recent Pennsylvania trip. So the trip kind of started at Hershey's Chocolate World, which is a fun place. I'd only ever been to Hershey Park. I never got to explore the chocolatey goodness of the Chocolate World experience. So I met up with Pete and Kevin and Brock, and I felt like I was instantly part of the friend group.
Yes!
And that was awesome because I'm on the quieter side and I don't make friends easily. So thank you guys for being so welcoming to your little group.
You are welcome.
So we went on the Chocolate World ride where we saw how chocolate is made, and it's not around the back, which I was glad of. And Pete was really excited and wanted to go on it again, but we stuck to the one trip through the how chocolate is made ride.
Oh, well.
We picked up some treats, which I'm still working my way through and enjoying. And then we headed to see how beer is made over at Trove's Brewery, and I had a lot of fun there. It only takes a very small amount of beer to make me a large amount of chili. So that happened pretty quickly because I kept being handed more beer. Whether it was during the brewing process or before and after, there was just like beer. It was just there, and I just drank it, and I laughed a lot, and we had a lot of fun. So then we went to the concert, which was awesome. Lincolns are just so punk rock. They're just so punk rock. I enjoy it. I have so much fun every time I see them. You know, I don't know all their songs, but like you just can't not have fun when you watch the Huntington play.
I agree.
Cody Hook is just a favorite. They're just top 10 favorite bands of all time, so I always enjoy seeing them too. This was my third time seeing them on the reunion tour. They played all the favorites. I got to catch up with my good old friends Conrad and Julia Tolosa, both of who made appearances during the Cody Hook set. Julia was awesome. She sings so beautifully, and Conrad does not look like he is over 50 years old, and it's just so fun to watch them rock out. Totally love the other guys too. So fun to see them play again. So fun to watch everyone just enjoy themselves and act like total punk rock dorks, especially Brock, who was cheering on for the encore, and then just like it just got ridiculous with that 10-minute chant trying to get them out for an encore. It was so much fun, and I appreciate being included in the weekend, and I hope we get to do something like it again sometime.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, and y'all enjoy talking. Bye.
I guess it's time to plan an Insiders Con, guys.
Yes,
Let's do it.
Hey Google, thank Anna Kipps for her voicemail. Oh, what a great weekend, Anna. I'm so glad we instantly connected, and we're so glad to have met you in person
and on purpose.
Yes.
Oh yeah, true, and on purpose.
Yes, it was on purpose. But yeah, as a fellow quieter person, I'm glad you had fun.
Oh, and as a loud and obnoxious person, I'm sorry.
I like that Pete kind of has enough social energy for the whole crew. It's a
blessing and a curse, but here we are. So my apology tour begins. I'm glad I don't have to apologize. Oh, that's really good. No, we had a great time in that brewery tour as well. Our guide, shout out to Art. Yeah, Art was from New England, from Watertown near Boston. He kept giving us more because he connected with Kevin. So there you go. It's a good time. Great times all around. Great show. Great. Yes, I am still bitter we didn't go again on the Hershey Chocolate World, but I'm really not that bitter. I enjoy it every time I go, and I've been 3 times in the last year, so I count that a blessing.
Hello?
Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, great. Sorry if I'm a few minutes late.
Oh,
I didn't know I had to download something.
You're totally fine, Eric.
You're
totally
good.
fine.
And by download something, we mean Zoom.
Yeah, no, it's I don't know your culture when it comes to that kind of stuff because I don't have to use that for anything.
I don't know my culture either. You're fine. Half the episode last week, I was like this when it's supposed to be like this. So it sounds like I'm yelling into the void.
I was wondering about that.
Oh, wait.
It's, I'm sorry. I should have said something earlier. I
No,
thought maybe you knew.
No, I did not realize.
Hey, we're not going yet.
No,
right?
you're fine.
Oh, we're totally live. We're using all of this.
Yeah. No, you're fine.
It's fine. You probably suffer more than I do. When it comes to that.
Have you listened to our podcast? No, we don't.
I forgot that I actually have a mic. Give me one
Yeah,
second.
you're good, man. You're good.
I'm kind of jealous of folks that haven't had to use Zoom for work and things.
I know.
Yeah, what a wonderful world.
Yeah.
Guys, should I be eating dinner while we're talking to our friend?
Well, you can
You
do whatever
are,
you
so.
want.
I'm actually comforted by chewing, so
I hear many people are. That really the favorite sound from a podcast most people hear is people eating food.
If you could put on original sound for musicians while you do it, it'd be even better. So
hang on, let me see. No, I don't think I've got that option here.
Thank God. I was joking.
Could you squish the sauce a little bit near the mic?
Hang on.
Oh, that's good.
You gotta slurp it some.
Oh yeah.
So good.
Some cultures that's considered a compliment.
Right. That's right. Exactly.
Not
honestly,
this one,
highest
but some other
compliment
one.
to you, sir.
But some.
You should hang out with those folks at that culture.
Oh.
Kevin, good to see you again too.
Yeah, good to see you again. And happy Failure Puddle Friday.
Yes.
What? Failure puddle?
So that's
Yes.
sort of the official beverage of our podcast. So it's essentially a dark and stormy, but just gone horribly wrong. So it's store brand ginger ale, no ice because you need to leave room for the failure.
Right.
And you take white rum and you pour it in until you go, oh, whoops, that's a bit too much, and that's when you know you've made it right.
Oh, great. I'm drinking gin.
Yeah, that works.
There we go. Don't
I'm
mind if
drinking
I do.
whiskey, so you're
Right.
good. Yeah, it's more our overlords love their failure puddle, and I know I've told you this in the past that we're spawned off from Five Iron Frenzy Insiders lead singers podcast, and Reese Roper came up with the failure puddle. So because of that,
Oh, nice.
we spin that off and say Happy Failure Puddle Friday.
Oh, okay. Well, great.
We have 2 rules on this podcast.
Uh-huh.
Number 1, if you don't want anything in, just say time out, and Kevin,
Yeah,
our
thanks.
editor, will take this out.
Cool.
And number 2 is let's get started.
Is this the point at which he says time in?
Right. So,
Right.
There we go.
And if you have any other questions for us, feel free to ask those.
The only question I had is Pete told me earlier that there were, of the other 3 of you guys, one of you really hated pocket vinyl and
I
what
did.
our whole stand for. I was
That's
wondering
me.
who that was. Great. Okay. He
Yeah.
also said that you didn't like Swedish people and Australians for some reason.
That's entirely incorrect. That must be somebody. That must be another co-host.
Oh, that was Kylan. That was Kylan Savage.
Oh, right. I'm sorry. Usual permanent co-host. I'm just subbing in. That's right.
We had a gentleman a couple episodes ago that was vying for the next co-host position, formerly held by Brock, of a Pickle Home Companion, and so it must have been him. And you know what? We're taking him off the list now because I love
Really?
Swedish people. Yep.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I thought he was pretty viable. Aside from that, aside from hating an entire people group.
imagine
Otherwise,
that rumor.
great co-host.
The rumors are not true on that, but that would be phenomenal. if that
To be
happened.
fair, I am Norwegian, and there's kind of it's a Red Sox Yankees thing with Norwegian.
That's right.
and Swedish people, so.
That's right. Yeah. Well, hey guys, Have you ever wondered how much vinyl you could fit in your pockets? Eric Stevenson sure has. He's carried LPs, 7-inch singles, 12-inch singles, 10-inch records bearing Aerosmith tunes, flexi discs, lathe cuts, and wax cylinders into his 5-pocket jeans, vest pockets, coat pockets, overcoat pockets, pockets on his hat, carpenter pockets, hammer loops, corner pockets, and not least of all, both cargo shorts pockets. His results? Better write some music about it. Ever wonder what it sounds like when a rabbit's on fire? They know, not from experience. That would be cruel. That's the title of their new record, which almost certainly fits into his pockets. How about some piano slam?
Well, Brock, thanks for introducing our guest.
That's what we were doing. Were we not doing that yet?
To be honest, when you started, I thought you were reading something I wrote on like a bio or something, and that you're like a 10-inch covering Aerosmith songs. I was like, wait, what? We didn't do that. Like, what? I was like trying to think of what you were referencing.
We're looking to the future.
Just the vast breadth of pop culture. That's all.
By the way, I know this is not too much of a video podcast. I don't know if it's hard to see, but I have a cool. It's a rabbit on fire. Elizabeth made on the front of this whiskey glass.
That's beautiful.
There we go.
Oh yeah, there it is.
See that? Yeah.
Look at that.
In the flame.
So
that rabbit's on fire.
Yeah. Elizabeth got this for me for Christmas. I think someone on like Etsy or something that got it. So yeah.
That's beautiful.
It's great. I actually too. I'm hoping. I have a whole bunch of tattoos on my arms, and I'm kind of working my way up each of the arms. And I have this. I have this character who's kind of like this cat monk who's holding a staff with a little fire on it, and the fire just ends. But we've been talking about doing more tattoos and getting like a rabbit on fire or rabbits and like smoke coming off of the flame or something, which would kind of be like up here. But it's my clothes are covering it. And it's not that kind of podcast, so
save that for the lonely fans, okay?
Yeah, right.
The only pants.
That's for our Patreons.
Mm-hmm. We have yeah, go ahead.
You did that thing where I was gonna say a joke and then decided not to, but I stopped at the right time.
Do it.
I'd prefer not to.
Okay, never mind.
And frankly, at this point, I forgot what it was because I was trying to focus.
It's probably better that way for all of us.
Anyway, I'm in pocket vinyl. Hi.
Oh, Eric's a good friend of mine, and I can tell you, I'll give you your props right now. If I didn't know you, I'd still love your music. So I have all your albums except for maybe one. No, I think I have them all. But I have all the vinyl releases, and I was going to bring.
Yeah, we don't have all of them on vinyl.
Right. But I have all the vinyl releases. So there you go. So yeah, I've been following you since your early days. I'm glad you finally released the demo tape because I've been waiting for that.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, it's a lot of people kind of forgot about the time when we were a noise band back in 1987 to 1990.
Yeah,
and so I'm just happy to finally kind of put those down on some sort of release.
It's honestly, and the fact that it's on a cassette tape. Brock, you'll be getting one of these soon, by the way.
I'm excited about this.
One of these is coming your way. Our resident cassette head is Brock Dittus.
Oh, nice.
Tape head.
Yes. I like to call you a cassette head because it's 2 syllables. Maybe I guess 3 with head, but still. I got to listen to the digital version of this the other day, and very good, but I look forward to putting it in my cassette player.
Yeah. It's a fun. Elizabeth and I are always trying to. Look, you guys know you're trying to do this podcast. Are you guys musicians, or have you been in bands?
Some of them are.
Yeah, I've been in a band, but we got three of us have been in bands.
Well, what is a musician really?
True. You know what?
Let's. All that and more on this week's edition of A Pickle Home Companion.
We're going to answer that question for you.
Kevin plays bass.
Yep.
Mama sing childhood.
Right, so do I.
All right. Well, all I say it meant is like you guys know how. I don't know. It's just it's tough to try to keep people's attention and to kind of do stuff. And so it's funny how like Pocket Vinyl we sort of. To say we're a band is accurate, but we have a movie. Elizabeth has a comic. We released a graphic novel. We've broken some world records. Yeah, we have all sorts of. I don't know. We're almost a multimedia corporation at this point.
It really is.
But it all kind of fits under the umbrella of Pocket Vinyl. But it's all in the effort of just trying to keep people interested and trying to be a fun band. I feel like, I don't mean to throw shade, but I feel like, and maybe it's just the way the culture is doing, but I feel like bands used to be more fun.
Yeah.
In terms of, not to say, I'm not saying that like music used to be better or something, because I don't think that's the case at all.
Right.
But it's more of like, I guess I miss the days when, like, albums used to be like events kind of thing, and now it feels like it just drops in a waterfall kind of going, and they just kind of continue off. And I don't know. Elizabeth and I are trying to release a bunch of stuff while trying to also be like, I don't know, do things that I always think like, oh, what would I want to do in a band? Like if a band I loved did something, what would I want them to do? And most recently, it was, I would love for them to talk about the secret history they had when they started off as a noise band in 1987 through 1990, opened up for Sonic Youth and Big Black and everything, and had the first songs to ever leak on the internet, which resulted in us dropping from Elektra, because they didn't know the internet at the time. They pretty much thought like, well, no one's going to buy the album because it's already out there on the early version of the internet. And I always just thought kind of like, I think if bands released old material like that, that'd be a fun thing. So, why not?
Well, it is exciting because I've heard rumor of it. You don't talk about it often. I know it was a difficult time in your life.
Yeah.
But I'm really glad that you put it out there for all of us on record.
Yeah, it was almost just a different kind of band back then.
Yeah.
But now that's officially, so that was Pocket Vinyl 1.0. And then when Elizabeth and I started getting together, and she went from guitar to painting,
right,
in 2010, that started 2.0. And then when Alex, our guitarist / producer, who's produced everything since Winter Person, our album Winter Person in 2020.
Shout out to Alex, good dude.
Yeah, Alex is great. He's one of my best friends. Love that guy, and he is an amazing producer and has done. He actually won New England Music Producer of the Year at the New England Music Awards in 2022.
Oh man,
maybe 2021, one of those.
I didn't know I was friends with such greatness. I love that. That's great.
Yeah, he doesn't know why he got it, nor he doesn't. I was like, "Did you submit yourself?" He's like, "No, I don't know." But whatever year it was, he did release a Pocket Metal album that year. So I hope we added to his.
Well, you can share that with him.
Yeah. Oh, I already have.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no. Now we're currently in Pocket Vinyl 3.0. Just so everyone's keeping track of the eras.
Interesting. So what is now Pocket Vinyl 3.0 consist of?
So it's mostly since Alex kind of came on board. Me and him have a real close just connection musically. Whereas Pocket Vinyl 2.0, a lot of those albums were kind of with different people. And I love them. They're all great. I don't mean anything, but it was just, it was moving around. And now we've kind of had a more of a consistent Pocket Vinyl family since 2020.
That's awesome. That's very cool. Well, if they come to your city, and I know you guys are coming all over the place to all these different cities, definitely check them out, because watching Elizabeth paint a whole painting while Eric jams away and rocks away on the piano is, I remember the first time I saw you guys perform live, I'm like, you know what? I mean, I'm married to an artist. I'm like, how is she gonna get this done in about what 7 to 10 songs? And I go, all right, well, and then by golly, it gets done. So
we've had people
awesome.
We've had people tell us that they will get anxiety watching her paint.
Oh yeah,
they'll be so. I don't even think we messed. So Pocket Vinyl primarily is myself. I play piano and sing, and then Elizabeth, my partner, paints on stage and makes a whole painting, and then we auction it off after the show. We've been doing that for nearly 15 years, and we're close to 1,200 shows at this point, and 1,200 paintings. And there have been people who've come up afterwards and been like, "Hey, I could not 3 or 4 songs in. I was like, oh, what is she doing? Oh, is she doing that? Oh." No, I can't. Oh, no. She's doing it wrong. Wait, she's ruining it. Why is she adding stuff that? No. Yeah. Oh, it's that. Oh my God. And they'll go through a whole just emotional arc. And afterwards just kind of say they'll apologize to me. This one person actually, they're like, I don't even think I heard a note that you were saying, because I was so focused on what Elizabeth was doing.
Right.
And I was just so anxiety driven that she was ruining it, then doing a good job, then doing, how is she going to finish it up? And then she added an element that I didn't quite understand. And I don't know. It's a great, it's a fun thing though. Even I have no idea what she's going to paint beforehand or anything either. And bringing it back to spirituality and stuff, there have been more times than I would than you'd assume, where Elizabeth she'll come up with like half a plan usually before a painting, and then like during the show kind of figure out the other half. But sometimes she'll like think during the day and be like, yes, I'm going to paint this. And then we walk into the venue or something. And she's like, no, you know what? This venue, that's not the painting for this venue. I'm going to do this other thing. And she'll just get an idea. And then afterwards, someone will come up and be like, how did you know? That is my dead mother and me, and walking, and it's like two foxes with a whale or something, and she's just like that. I had a dream last night that was it. And like the amount of people who are just like, this relates exactly to my life, when she's just like, yeah, I don't know, and so we don't know what that says about. Maybe it's just confirmation bias on our part of like, we just notice it when it happens, and not. Maybe it's something more that Elizabeth is slightly tapping into. I don't really know. But I'd like to lean more on the magical side of it because that's more fun. If there's like something in the, just in the atmospheres or whatever on some level that she's picking up. It's a very exciting thing to be able to not only see her create a new painting every night, but also to we give it off to someone. Often it's the first painting anyone's ever owned, and so it's kind of fun to like have a whole bunch of collections started art collections and people kind of starting things. So yeah, it's a satisfying life that I lead. I'll be honest with you. I'm pretty happy.
Fascinating. Yeah. No, I'm fascinated by the idea that there's like kind of this tether between the visual and the audio and the energy of people all together in one place. Like there's like all those different things happening at once. There is some sort of electricity there.
Yeah, I mean, you have to. I mean, I think any band worth their salt kind of works off the crowd a little bit. You know what I mean? You kind of like that's. And also, if you haven't been in a band before, it's hard to really express how, when you're performing, you feel like the audience. It's not necessarily you're performing for the audience. It's like a dance with the audience, kind of, and how they're reacting affects you, and vice versa. Yeah, and it adds definitely a different layer to that. But I mean, we just kind of figure it's like another instrument. You know what I mean? It's as if Elizabeth's playing like guitar again or something like that. It's just something else. So every once in a while, we'll tell people, because the reason with the paintings and auctioning them off, that's been the thing that's helped us stay alive. As our like pocket vinyl has been our full-time job since we started. Since we got married back in 2000. Well, since we got married back in 2011, we started in 2010, but we're just. Yeah, I guess. Anyway, because we've been able to make enough money with the painting sales afterwards, it's at least like 40 or 50% of what we take in. And I always kind of recommend to other bands, like, dude, you want to make some money on the road, get a painter. And they're like, oh, we don't want to take your thing. And it's like, that's like just as dumb as saying like, well, I can't play piano because this other band has a piano in it, so I can't.
Rip off.
Yeah,
my goodness. Yeah.
Where'd the inspiration come from? Had you seen some version of that, or is just like, this is what I do, this is what she does, let's do it at the same time? Like, what made you start it?
One of my favorite bands, probably of all time, is a band called Cloud Cult.
Yeah, I was hoping you'd bring them up.
Yeah, dude. And I found them in college. They have like a full band and two painters, and they're kind of a good like, what's it all about type of like band. I think they kind of come from maybe a more Christian background, but have a very spirituality things connected. It's a band that asks a lot of questions in the lyrics and stuff. And Elizabeth and I just liked each other and wanted to kiss and stuff, and so we were like, hey, let's hang out more. And I wanted to go on tour, and so I was booking a tour. This is back in 2010. That was just going to be me, just by myself. But we started dating 3 or 4 months before, and it was like, oh yeah, why don't you come too? And actually in college she had done some live painting not with bands, but with like just various like soundtrack and kind of theater performance stuff,
right?
And so I just decided to do it, and we actually made money on our first tour. I didn't even know until like a few years later that's not typical for most bands, and most bands like take out a credit card on their first few tours and stuff, but we made it work. And so then when we got married, we're like, well, let's try to do this full time, and that has been the case ever since.
Cool. I say I've seen some version of that once. Like 68 did it actually at Furnace Fest, the first time they played, where they had somebody painting. And so it's like a different vibe because it's noise rock. I mean, like,
right. What style
do
was the painting? Like, what did he?
Like,
was it more abstract?
looks,
I'm guessing.
Yeah, a lot of like graffiti is the wrong word because it doesn't look like graffiti, but a lot of it was busy, if that makes sense. A lot of different images and just kind of colors,
like trash polka type stuff.
Yeah, yeah. So
That's
kind of
great,
like their
68,
album cover of like their newest one that just has a lot going on of little images. And so that's how the painting was, is it looked similar to that. I may have a picture of it somewhere.
Most other live painting that I've seen with bands tends to be abstract, and like the painter is kind of like jumping around a lot and doing, like it's kind of more of a performance thing. We played with that, and then we have played with sometimes bands with a painter, but they'll do like just like a landscape or something. And one thing that I think it was just Elizabeth's style, but then once she kind of figured it out, like if you look at her first like 100 paintings, it's you see a lot of the seeds of what's there now, but she was experimenting a little more of but she tends to have characters and mostly animals and stuff, but like when you add characters and when you add things, people will form a story of those characters' relationship. Like I said, there's sometimes people come up and be like, my father, who I haven't spoken to in 10 years, is that polar bear right there. And like, they attach something to it. And so Elizabeth kind of realized that like having characters and having almost, it looks like a snapshot of some larger story is I mean, that's the way. If you can get two people to really connect with it, then they go on a bidding war, and you're sitting pretty selling that thing for $500 to $1,000.
It's fun to watch. I've lost many a painting because of that bidding war.
Do you have any paintings? Do you have?
I do.
I'll
go grab one. Keep talking amongst yourselves.
All right. But no, it's Elizabeth's kind of style, and that's the thing too. Is like I always tell other bands too, like get a painter, and then. Like they're like, oh, we don't want to steal your thing, and it's like they're whoever your painting is, they'll have their own style,
right?
Like you know what I mean? It's just another instrument. You can't. It's like you can't say like, oh, well, I can't play guitar because it's the same as this other band. So, I don't know. I think a lot of bands should get painters, especially in today's economy, because it's one, it spreads more art, and two, it like I said, it's 40 to 50, if not more % of our income when we're on the road is those painting sales. And sometimes they go for very little, and sometimes they go for a lot. And we just try not to be bitter about it and just let it go for whoever's there. But it's I don't know. It's very satisfying, and I often cannot see what she's doing when we're performing on stage, like the angle, and so it's always new to me, which I very much like.
All right, I grabbed mine.
Oh, nice. What year is that from? What's on the?
That is 14 years ago. That's how I got in the ground floor News Cafe, Pawtucket, Rhode Island.
That might be in the first 100 paintings. So looking at that, I guess most people are probably listening to this. So the birds,
we have a thing called lowlights. We can put this on video.
Oh, I know. But it's so like the yellow, the background, seeing like the swirls, kind of with the white in the background. So that kind of like almost like a surrealistic atmospheric effect. It almost implies like wind or dust or something like that. That is still very much used today, but that painting has less depth than a lot of her things today. So I don't mean to necessarily speak for her, but one thing she might do with like that same kind of image today would be to add different layers of like lightness behind the kind of swirls to give it more of like a 3-dimensional effect.
I've seen her do that recently. Adding
but like the seeds of, I don't know. That's actually fascinating to see that, because it in my mind it's as if it's like listening to like some band's early demo or something like 20 years later or whatever. It's I can see where she came from. Oh, that's cool. That's awesome, Pete.
yeah, man.
Sorry you've lost so many since then.
No, it's okay. Honestly, for me, it's like the fact that I've lost so many means that so many more homes have it. So that's exciting for me. That's exciting. I'm part of your Patreon. I get the prints. I'm good. You know.
Appreciate that. Thank you very much.
No problem. Subtle plug for the Patreon.
Yeah, please.
Promo code Squid. No, not really.
Promo code Squid. Go to What's Squid? What's that from? What's that? What other podcast is that from?
All right, so that's from that's from our overlords on Joe and Reese's Pickle and Boot Shop. Their intro music says, "Come for the pickles, stay for the squids," and so we were. That's why you might hear us refer to ourselves as the Squids, because when we started this companion podcast that no longer is really a companion podcast, it's our own thing. We just kept the term the Squids, so that's why we use that promo code Squids.
Hey, you're the Squid Kids.
Yeah, we're the Squid Kids. Oh, ooh, new hashtag. I like it.
I love how every part of this takes so much time to explain. Like, it's anytime we have to say, like, how did we get started? What are we doing here? Oh, how much time do you have?
I'm going to tell you right now that was the quickest I've ever explained it, and I was proud of myself, Brock.
Oh, you did good. You did great.
Well, you see, it all started back in the
simple thing is to rebrand completely, start all new inside jokes, all of it.
In the year 2019, when two lead singers of former Christian ska bands, actually, sorry, one is a former. Anyway, continue. But yeah, it has been cool for me on a personal note to see, like, as I look at that painting, to see what she does, you know, even in the show I saw you last year, and then the show coming up, just to see how the style has changed, but like some of those key and crucial elements kind of remain the same.
Yeah,
kind of almost like a through line, but without a through line, you know.
Yeah, and we actually have, when we did our 1000th show, we made a poster of where Elizabeth it's like all 1000 paintings, and they're all like very small as like a big thing, and it's, you know, if you look real close you can kind of see them all, but mostly what you see is just a general wave. Like around painting 300 or 400, she started using blues and oranges, like, and much darker colors, and it's like this gradient that goes down, whereas like that one and other things were a lot of more yellows and brighter colors in the first few hundred. And it's interesting just how it all like changes, and she goes through sometimes some like there was this one week a few years ago where it was like 6 or 7 paintings in a row all looked like stained glass windows. And then she'll like, there was one tour we did where every painting had this, it kind of told a story of like this like little girl finding these like mythological creatures, and then they all coalesced in the last painting. We've talked about like trying to write some story and going on a 30 or 40 day tour, and her doing a different like art to go with it, you know, a different few paragraphs or something, and then release that as a book of like, you know, just trying to include things. But and you know, again, stuff like that kind of leads back to what I was saying earlier. We're just trying to, I don't know, do things that I would think, oh, if I heard a band I liked was doing something like that, I'd be like, oh, that's cool. And even if it was more than that, it's at least just sticks in their mind of like, oh, that's a band that's like doing stuff, you know what I mean, rather than, which, you know, there's nothing wrong necessarily with like the usual album cycle, and it's great to get new music and things from bands you love, but I don't know, there's once you start thinking of options, there's a lot to explore in the world and just art in general.
Do you think about her painting now when you write music? Like, are you able to write music separately from knowing what you're going to then do with it? Does that make sense as a question? Or is that in the back of your mind of like, what's she gonna, like, what could this inspire? What could this turn into?
I mean, people like sorry.
No, you're good, man.
I'm trying to think of how
that's thoughtful.
I have a brain that like thinks of 5 things, and they all try to rush through the door at the same time and just get stuck.
You're home here.
Yeah, I know, Pete. I know you and I.
You know how my brain works.
Right.
Half the stuff that comes out is anyway.
It's one of those things where it's like, in the long run, if I look back, it's like, oh, I can see how certain things we each affected each other, but it's not really conscious. It's a like how we began talking about the, you know, debating and stuff. We don't have a conscious conversation about like what things are going to happen, but often our album covers tend to reflect the art that Elizabeth has been doing on stage and maybe even off stage a little bit. For the Rabbit on Fire,
Oh yeah,
for
let's
that
go to that
book.
first.
Yeah, but for that one, we thought, we wanted an album cover that was a picture, which we hadn't had that before, and that's a picture of a book that Elizabeth, she did all that on the cover of this old book that we found, and she there's no Photoshop on that at all.
Ooh, practical effects.
Yeah, and we thought that would be cool, and it's on a table that my dad made too, so I feel like it's my dad's art is on there. He's a carpenter, and that I feel
that's cool.
happy about that. Yeah,
I like that a lot.
And also my dad, I will say, grew up doing barbershop quartet stuff, and he appears on every Pocket Vinyl album.
Yes, he does.
At least one song. Sometimes it's more subtle than others, but he does.
I've seen his barbershop live in person, and it is stunning.
Yeah, he's a good bass.
Yeah.
So Elizabeth, that one with the "You Said Never Say Goodbye When You Leave," the skeletons, she did a few paintings where I think one was like a wolf. That was like a wolf skeleton standing, and like kind of smoke was coming up from it, and like the smoke was in the form of like a wolf with fur, and that was like one of the paintings. We thought that was a striking image, and so we were trying to think of animals that would have a skeletons to them, and that somehow fit kind of what that album like was about, because that album is a lot of like trying to dwell in uncertainty, both with like theology and just kind of like anger towards the line I usually use is that album is about angry prayers to a God who has the audacity to possibly not exist. And it's just like, if you've ever like been that where you're, I don't know, it's like praying to a God that I don't believe is there, like an early version that I grew up with, that I don't think that's how it is, but you kind of want to yell at someone sometimes. Anyway, and so like bird skeletons with like kind of pale blues and stuff just seem to fit that tone. And yeah, the book, a lot of the, with Rabbit on Fire, the last album, it's all story songs. And so we were kind of thinking like, oh, like a book would be cool, because it's usually a lot of our music is autobiographical, but I tried to write more stories and kind of do character songs, which a lot of those are. So yeah, there's things that it all kind of coalesces, but it's sort of like it waits until we like stop and kind of look around and be like, okay, what are the connections? And then we find those and make them, rather than any type of planned thing. We're both just kind of doing our own thing, and it's like just weaving in and out of each other as because we just spend pretty much all our time together.
Well, I mean, I can tell you that on this album, You Never Say Goodbye When You Leave, Be Here Now is probably one of my favorite songs. I'm not just saying this because you're my friend. One of my favorite songs in general, across the board, not just Pocket Vinyl. So thank you for that song.
Wait, like ever? I was waiting at least for like a year, like a qualifying of like a year or this decade or something. I would
say, all right. So I'll give you a qualifier of my current listening cycle. I would say, "Be Here Now" is one of my favorites, and so there you go, man.
Thank you
everyone,
very much.
check out "Be Here Now." That's a great tune. I think I requested it last time I saw you play, and to be honest, I didn't remember the title of the song, because I don't really remember titles. I just remember lyrics.
Oh yeah, no, I don't remember our own titles.
And then I looked it up and I went, yeah, all right. And then forever in my brain, it's "Be Here Now."
Well, thanks, man. That one. It's funny that whole album was like I said, it was kind of written. I tried not to have a theme. A lot of our albums have theme. We have like an album of like non-depressing songs about death, or non-sexy songs about sex and sexuality, or defiant songs of hope. And it was like I was trying not to have an album theme with that one, but then once we made all the songs and we're working on them, I realized they were all about uncertainty, to the point where, like, to this day, I don't quite get that album. I've talked to people. You probably understand that album more than I do, and I know that sounds weird to say.
I dig it. Yeah.
It's like that album. It's almost like when I look directly at it, it's like its face is blurry, and other people are like, yeah, no, I recognize that, and I don't know. I still don't get it. So even like "Be Here Now," like there were things that I wanted to change in that song, but my producer Alex and other like friends who we were working on it with were like, no, it's good this way. And so I decided to trust them. But there's like things that I'm like, clearly they've made the right choices. And I mean, I wrote a good part of it, but it's a lot of it I still quite don't get. Like, I'm like, oh, I'm glad you like it, but yeah.
And that's cool. That's cool too, because I didn't really realize just how much collaboration, you've been doing recently. And so that's interesting to see how that collaboration process is kind of changing and molding and shaping to 3.0,
Yeah, and that's a good, because most of the Pocket Vinyl albums today were just me writing full songs, then bringing them and working with people. But the last 3 albums since Winter Person in 2020, pretty much in 3.0, has been much more collaborative than before, both with Alex and also Jay Donnell and Tim Donnell and Jay Silva are 2 friends of ours who play bass and drums live with us. Sometimes we'll do a full band thing, and they had a heavy hand in writing the Rabbit on Fire songs. We tried to write those like in a group rather than me just bringing them songs. So
sure.
And again, it's like, you're 15 years deep into a career. Most bands do not get past like 2 albums. And so it's like, you got to try to switch it up even for yourself.
I mean, I've got at least 4 here, so that's double that.
Depending on what you count, we have 11 to 16 albums.
Yeah, and there's a few more upstairs that I couldn't grab before I came down. So there you go. But I would be remiss not to mention, we were talking about the painting process, right? And I know this is very, I know that Elizabeth, this is not like necessarily to get into that, but tell us how the planetarium thing started.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's just, there's this guy named Jason Diebel who, long story short, got connected with the planetarium, which is in East Lyme High School in East Lyme, Connecticut.
Sure.
And they were looking for things to do with it. And he's like, let's do shows. And so he reached out to us. We kind of know him through, he just came to shows. Kind of like
Sweet.
You and Switchfoot, Pete.
Yay.
Just went to shows.
I wasn't going to mention them this episode, but thank you for doing it for me.
Well, you just, people show up to enough shows, you just kind of can't help but get to know the band personally on some level for whatever.
I know the feeling. That's what happened with me with Pocket Vinyl. I get it.
I think you knew them before.
Back in their 1.0 phase. But it's exciting for me because I haven't seen them yet, and I know you have a show coming up. It's probably after we.
It's only the second time. Yeah, will this be released after that? It's May 2nd.
May 2nd.
That's release day, I think.
That might be. It is.
So tonight. Tonight.
So I guess. So as you're listening tonight in East Lyme, I'm going to try and make it. It looks like I have the day off, so I'm going to do it. I got a wedding the next day, but I'm doing it.
All right.
Because
it's 7:00. It won't be a late show.
Oh man! All right. So, even better. All right. So, but I grew up. We had a planetarium in my high school growing up. So the fact that those still exist in high schools is pretty cool. And
apparently they just like redid it too and like put a bunch of money into it. So it's great.
So I'm excited to see how that whole, because I mean I've been to numerous of your shows. I know the process. I know what you guys are about, but that's a new wrinkle that I am excited about, just to see.
Yeah, so it's going to be a camera is going to be on Elizabeth's painting, which will be projected onto the planetarium ceiling.
Sick.
So the whole audience is just going to be laying down, looking up, and I'm going to play piano, and we're going to ask people to just don't even clap in between songs. Awesome. We're just going to go one right into the other, and it just kind of can be a long performance piece. And then, just auction off the painting and do all that stuff afterwards. But yeah, it was really great last time. And a lot of people were, it was one of those things where like we tried to tell people what it was and they were like, okay. And then like when we posted video afterwards, they're like, oh, okay. So hopefully we'll have a few more faces this time around.
I love that. Well, yeah, we'll see what's going on that day. And I'll see if I can try get some people my way.
Always. It'd be great to see you there, but
you know what? I'm going to apologize for your apology, and anyway, so that's going to be cool. I do have some questions from some fans, though, Eric.
From fans?
Oh yes, I do. My man, Andy Myers saw you at Audio Feed.
Oh yeah,
and he has. He sent me.
That's right. He is a listener to this podcast. You told me he's like a listener and had no idea that we were connected or something, and you mentioned it. That's right. Yeah,
you can't see that, but he has those are his albums that he brought out to show.
So that 7-inch is one of 30.
He is an active.
Wow.
I mean, active fan of Pocket Vinyl. So
Mm.
shout out to friend of the pod and friend of Pocket Vinyl, Andy.
Yeah, hey, Andy.
Mars.
We're playing audio feed in a few months too. We're going to be there again. So,
all right,
if
you listening,
there,
Andy?
we'll see you there, Andy.
Make it happen, Andy. He did ask the question. I got to ask this one first. Why do you hit your keyboard so hard? What did it ever do to you?
That's pretty good.
I have an insane amount of envy for those who play instruments who can be mobile on stage. And I really wish I could run around on stage. Yet you can't do that at a piano or a keyboard or anything. And so I do my best to jump around and hit the piano very hard to try to entertain all the barflies who happen to be there and Saginaw, Michigan or whatever. I don't know. It just it became a way to try to get people's attention, and then it kind of became just fun. And most people hardly see, but the piano traditionally is so proper, you know what I mean? And you're supposed to like sit with like your back up straight and all this stuff, and so just kind of, I don't know. The piano is it's earned its place to get like beaten the shit out of it in a rock show, and too few people do it, in my opinion. So that's just me trying to.
Even in folds, right?
Yeah. But
I also kind of think on a side note, with you and a piano is a modern day Victor Borga. He would take the piano.
I do not know who that is.
You don't know who that is? Okay,
Victor Borga's great.
Yeah, Victor Borga would take a piano and just like he would play. Brock, you feel free to explain Victor Borga.
Yeah, well, I was thinking mostly of his pronunciation or punctuation.
Yes.
Where he would make sounds for the period and the question mark and that sort of thing. But that's more of a vocal thing.
He
was kind of comedic, but he was piano
right.
based.
Okay,
so
I've heard that bit.
Yeah.
So he would do that, but then he would also do piano based bits where he would like play the phone book, or he'd play like, just and take the piano that was prim and proper, and he'd show up in a suit and do something completely different. So on a side, like far-reaching comparison, but like it's that's who I would think of when you think of somebody that plays it different than a prim and proper.
Yeah,
or potentially the Mute Math Corner. I mean, there was some keys-based stuff there too.
Yep, Mute Math Corner.
No, there's a lot of bands that incorporate. I mean, Coldplay has piano quite a bit in it. I mean, I don't know, Radiohead, Beck, like a lot of bands have like, but it's usually for like a song or two. It's kind of like a special, special song on the album or whatever. Like you mentioned Ben Folds, he, I don't think we sound like Ben Folds or Ben Folds 5. But because I'm a guy and I play the piano, we sound like Ben Folds 5. But I just think it's because there's just so few touchstones for people with like pop rock piano stuff. I get Elton John, Billy Joel, Ben Folds, like just 90% of the time. That's who. The more astute listener will sometimes compare me to like Regina Spektor or Fiona Apple, who are much more close. Like I feel like they're influenced me a bit more modernly than anyone else. Amanda Palmer, and they're also piano slammers.
Sure,
I will say. But I honestly think there's such like Ben Folds particularly defined piano rock as like one thing. It's kind of like it is a little tongue in cheek. There's kind of an attitude of like, isn't it funny we're playing rock music on a piano? A lot of like seventh chords, like a major triad with a minor seventh. You know what I mean? Yeah. And there are even a lot of other piano rock bands who we've played with who sounded like that. Like you just defined it as one thing. And I feel like there's just such a huge empty space of what the piano can do in rock that is completely unexplored. And it almost, sometimes it feels like cheating because I feel like I'll like come up with something and it feels, not to say that we're like these groundbreaking band or anything like that, but it's just, I don't know. It just does, it feels like it's easier to find something that sounds like a new rhythm or a new kind of riff on the piano then I'd imagine like guitarists are probably, it's very tough, I would assume, to kind of create your own voice on a guitar, simply just because there's always been so many. But yeah, I don't know. Like most piano songs, even if you're like pop songs or whatever, it's just, it's the like a dun 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 dun, like 1 2 3 4 chord change, 2 3 4 chord change, 2 3, and there's so much more to it than that.
How'd you know my style? Okay.
Well, look, that said, we have plenty of songs that fit in that thing. So I'm not saying that's bad.
Sure.
Those are great, but it's like there's just a lot more to explore, in my opinion.
I understand. This man, we all love Andy Myers here at the Pickle Home Companion.
We do.
He's one of the most thoughtful dudes, and we had a great time hanging with him on one of our. We try to do a podcast hangout where we get people just to come on and hang and do a Zoom call, not recorded usually. But yeah, what a good dude. So the fact that I found out that he was also a fan of pocket vinyl, that endeared me even more to him. But he does ask, and a question that I've often wondered, since you have been to all 50 states, as chronicled in this wonderful graphic novel called How to Completely Lose Your Mind, a graphic novel memoir of one indie band's attempt to break a world record. He asks,
"What's your favorite state and why is it North Carolina?" Was that the question?
No, that's not the question.
Okay, go ahead.
We have a North Carolinian, but that will be the next. Eric, feel free to ask Eric that question after this one.
Yep.
The question is, what states have the best gas stations / bathrooms?
Ooh. Okay, so probably the ones we've been the most in are probably New York or Pennsylvania, but mostly just because we have to go through those states to get anywhere from Connecticut.
Yep.
The best bathrooms in the it depends. Most states have like they're trying to do different flavors for their like the highway ones. I will say this: New York recently, in the last few years, redid a lot of their stops on the highways, and they made them smaller for some dumb reason. I don't understand. The men's bathroom has like 2 stalls and 3 urinals for a highway. And that's the guys' one. The women's line, I feel terrible for all the women who have to work with that, because there's always a line there.
Thank you.
So I will say I'm very frustrated with those New York ones. But a little cheat code to that is that there's 2 family bathrooms on all those, and I just usually go in and use those. So you get your own private bathroom in those.
I'm a family of 1. Who knows?
And right. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Everyone's in a family, so you can use the family bathrooms whenever you want.
Good cheat code.
Right. And then once like the family with like 5 kids and stuff and they want to get in, I just say, wait your turn. I'm a cruel bathroom attendant, I'll say. I don't know. For the most part, they're just it's unmemorable.
How do you feel about Buc-ee's?
That was my next question.
I
sorry to take that, Brock.
It's like I like Buc-ee's until I think too hard about it. You know what I mean?
That's a great take.
You go in.
I want to hear more about this.
Well, no, it's just like you go in and you're like, oh wow, there's like all this stuff. There's all this. The Buc-ee's, we almost always will get the candied pecans because they smell great, and we'll get them. I like that they have like art all over their bathrooms with a price tag on it that you can just buy. And I know it's all like prints and stuff, but still, it's something. But then if I think too hard about it, I'll get into the whole, capitalism and like how what it costs to have, like, in terms of the world, to have a place like this, and so if I don't go down that rabbit hole, it's great. It's comforting. It's nice. It's big enough that you can kind of stretch your legs and walk around. Yeah, the bathrooms are generally clean.
That fresh brisket on the board. Yep.
I will say I always I'm a vegan, so I know.
I'm aware. I'm not
even necessarily sure that the candied pecans are vegan, but they're delicious nonetheless. The candy might be beef tallow or something.
There's a reason.
The world may never know.
But it is kind of like it's like it's a Walmart that's a gas station. It's a department store that's a gas
that's
station.
How I explain it. Yep.
But it's they're going to be clean. They're going to be. It's one of those things where it's like this is. Well, yeah, like if you want to go to like a safe part of town, like you punch in like Panera Bread or something like that, and it's like
right.
like it's Bucky's. You'll be fine at one. Like I'm not worried about my car getting broken into or something like that. So there's certain things like that to be said about it, but I don't know. Again, so if I don't think about it, it's great.
I like that.
Yeah.
Bucky's, you'll be fine.
Bucky's, you'll be fine. I like that.
Have you heard the urban legend that it's pronounced Busey's?
What? There is zero chance that a company that originated in Texas that's spelled that way is Busey's. I refuse to believe that.
Like Gary Busey's?
Right.
Yes. There's another sub level of that rumor that he like started it or owned it or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Again, it's one of those things that mess with people who are like, no, it's Busey's. It's pronounced Busey's, but I've done the research. It's Bucky's all the way.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. You fact checked it before we had to. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, I'm an informed citizen.
I did just check for you. Those candied pecans are generally considered vegan, so you're in the clear.
Hey, good news.
Wait, what do you mean
with a
generally?
clear conscience.
Generally,
yes.
Like generally, what? So beef tallow falls into it or something?
That's
like that?
It said generally.
Every once in a while, there's a
always
ham every
good
10th
to
pecan.
check. Yeah.
Made in a facility that also processes animals. Yeah.
General vegan. Well, thank you for that take on gas stations and their bathrooms.
Yeah. I will say. Well, hold on. One thing, actually.
Yeah, please.
So, Elizabeth, we have these Turing test stickers that have. That's Elizabeth's comic is called the Turing Test, which is like a semi-autobiographical comic about our lives. She puts it online at the Turing Test everywhere. But she has stickers that say like at the Turing Test. And puts them. She always puts one on the in the bathroom stall at every single like public bathroom. Or like especially like gas station stop on the highway and stuff. And we've had people come to shows because they saw that sticker on like a bathroom. This is great. We did this house show in where was a place south of Cleveland, Ohio. We did this house show and it was mostly like early, like a house of like early mid-20s folks. This is about a year and a half ago. And these a bunch of people were coming for the show. There were maybe like 15, 20 people there total, but like 15 minutes before the show started, these two women in their 70s come in and they're like, hi. And they're kind of like looking and we're just like, hi. And they're like, is the Pocket Vinyl show happening? And we're like, yeah, this is it. We start talking with them. They're like within like 10 minutes, they're like taking hits off like joints that are being passed around and everything. Like they're awesome. They're like sweet. All the people who own the house and everything, there was no like ageism, no like what are these people doing here? No, it like immediately it was great. The whole reason they came is because they saw a sticker of Elizabeth in a bathroom like 6 months previously. Wow. And we're like looking into it and stuff. So yeah, that's it's fun. And we've had, besides that too, we've had a few comments of people online and stuff who said like, oh, I saw your sticker. And now that, so stickers, if it's a good sticker and it's placed in the right place, you can rope in some people.
It really is.
And the bathroom stall market is one place that a lot of other bands apparently haven't been thinking about, but
there may or may not be a Turing Test sticker in Leeds, Alabama, placed there by someone I might know. I don't know.
At Busey's?
In a Busey's.
Yeah. So is this like, because obviously the Turing Test is like the historical thing, right? But is this a TOURING, like touring?
Yes,
like
it is.
You're touring as a band. Gotcha.
Yeah.
But is it a pun?
I guess.
Okay, cool.
Is it technically wordplay?
Yeah.
Is it a pun or is it wordplay?
Oh, that's honestly, that's a good question because it's not a pun.
Why not both?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, I don't know. We just naming. You probably felt this way with Pickle Home Companion. Trying to name a thing is like the worst thing ever. It's just like trying to name a band or a thing. And so I think we had watched that Benedict Cumberbatch movie, The Imitation Game, where he plays Alan Turing, and so the Turing Test was on our mind, and we thought the Turing Test, and we were just like, yeah, that's fine, whatever, it's fine.
No, I like it.
Sure.
I like it.
Well, I do want to welcome you to Lake Scobagon. So I mean that's a pickle home companion, Lake Scobagon. You make the correlations that you might.
Isn't there? Oh, do you have a tagline that? What's the like where the men are always something and women?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we do.
We do.
Oh yeah.
We every episode we come up with something. I'm sorry, Brock comes up with something new.
All right, Brock, lay it on me.
I mean, we all work on it. We all work together. Okay. Boy, let's see here. So
the first one that put you on the spot, Brock.
That's the news. I didn't know. Are we done?
No,
that's
we're
the
not.
News from Lake Scobagon, where all of the house shows are good looking. All of the 50 states are strong, and all of the slam piano music is above average.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're going to use that one or not.
Soldiers? Well, hey, Brock, if we can, start an episode an hour in, we can end an episode an hour in.
That's quite true. And then we can keep on going. That's right.
I mean, if we learn nothing about our recording processes, we're not done. But
honestly, yeah.
I didn't know that's the ending thing.
That's usually
Kevin
when Brock
works magic.
No, I like it in the middle. This is when Brock usually puts his kids to bed, but they're still watching Batman, so we're good.
That's true. Yeah, no, this is great.
Oh, that's really good. Yeah, he'll come up with something. Don't worry. He's going to not talk for the next 10 minutes because he's going to be coming up with something new, and I love it.
That's right.
I know how he operates in the short time I've known him.
Well, we're going to have Jared wants to know about North Carolina, and I want to know about Oregon. So we got some questions for you.
Here's the thing: I judge states by their how well we've been received at them.
Yes, I respect that.
It's a lot of people will like when we're going places they'll be like, oh, you got to check out this place and that place, and like the fact of the matter is when you're on tour you're just moving so fast that you rarely see any part of a town that's not the venue you're playing at. So I can't speak to any part of the culture, but I will say that we've had some great house shows in North Carolina. There was one time we played one of the two times I've slept on a carpet that's just riddled with cigarette smoke was in North Carolina.
That's on brand for us. Yeah.
The only time we ever knowingly stayed with a drug dealer on tour was in North Carolina. One time a 13-year-old and her parents came to a show, and she was like starstruck at Elizabeth because she was such a huge fan of the Turing Test. And that was in North Carolina. We've had a lot of up and downs, but North Carolina is kind of, I kind of think of it as like similar to like the New England of the South, because there's a lot of cities that are all pretty close together. Yep. And if you can plan a tour right, you can like drive like an hour every day for a week, and hit like Asheville, then like is it Greensboro and Greensboro. Yeah, Greensboro. Yeah. And then like Winston-Salem, and then you just like go down the line.
Yeah.
It's been hit or miss. I don't feel like we've ever found like a place where we always go every single time, but it's pretty good. I mean, we just actually, so we're gonna be going down the East Coast in the fall, and we just reconnected with this one guy who used to come to shows. He was one of like 5 people who came to like 3 or 4 shows to us, and then this venue closed. I think it was near Winston-Salem, and he's like, hey, would you ever want to come play at my house? And we're like, yeah, sure. And we played there twice. He invited like everybody. We had everyone. It was like they were amazing shows, and they were absolutely fantastic. And we're just talking with him. He moved to a new place, and we haven't played there in like 5 or 6 years, but we're gonna do it again this fall. And so I'm very much looking forward to that and to seeing him again. So it's nice. I don't know. It's fine. It's also the there's as soon as you enter North Carolina, there's like like a huge cigar store off the highway.
JR is on 95.
Yeah, JR is
like 30 minutes from me.
Oh, you're in North Carolina right now?
I am. Yeah, I live in North Carolina.
Yeah, no, it's I don't know. It's not terrible. I will let me think. The most terrible New Jersey's never great.
New Jersey.
We've had some decent ones, but it's more miss than hit. New York City, any big city is at this level. When you're a small band, you just get lost in the noise. Yep. Like the small to mid-sized towns, man, you go there and it's like not many bands go through. That's where you like change people's lives and you get like fans who will like follow you for life. Those tend to be the best ones, and those can happen in any state.
Right.
Also, because it's a related question, best drivers, Hawaii, worst drivers, Texas. Just so everyone knows.
Texas
Hawaii,
is the worst, you say?
Yes, Texas is
Texas.
like
Interesting.
They'll be like semi, because you'll have like a 4-lane highway and semis will just like switch lanes without blinkers. And when you're in like a small little car, it just feels like a death trap.
That's scary.
Oh,
wow.
It is.
Because I have not driven in Texas. I've driven in Utah, and Utah seems like it has pretty bad drivers.
Well, here's another thing I've learned. Every single state likes to claim that they have the worst drivers.
Yeah.
Like if you ever play and you're in some bar or something, and it's like a Tuesday night and like hardly anyone's there, they'll be like, oh, well, that's Charlotte for you. But, like they'll say that it's everywhere. On our very first tour, we played this one place in Pennsylvania, and it was a coffee shop. No one came, and the owner was like, yeah, well, Lobster-Fest is in town, so we're just like,
oh, they are.
All right,
competition. Yeah,
I guess. Yeah, no, the people who Lobster-Fest and Pocket Vinyl is like it's basically a circle of a Venn diagram. And since then, there was one other time, like a year or two later, that we were in a completely different place, and they're like, yeah, well, this like Lobster-Fest is happening. And then one time we played in Mississippi, and no one was there, and the guy's like, well, Crawfish Festival's in town. And so now, like, anytime we play a show and it's just like, not many people there or whatever, we're like, oh man, Lobster-Fest must be happening now in Cheyenne, Wyoming.
You need an exclusionary clause.
Yeah.
Snail Fest is going strong.
Seriously, you need like a contractually they can't have it. You can't host you during any sort of seafood festival.
It was talked over, but you said exclusionary clause. That was a great pun. I don't know how purposeful that was, but I just want you to know that I noticed it and I registered it, and I appreciate it. Okay,
Try to stay cracking for you.
Pete was saying this is the random conversation podcast. Can we talk? Puns are great.
Yes, they are.
I don't understand why people hate puns. In my opinion, I think people hate puns because a lot of
don't get it.
No, well, because a lot of pun users have bad delivery.
Yes.
Or will it's purposeful. It's same exact thing with dad jokes. Dad jokes themselves on paper are not necessarily unfunny. And there are a lot of great comedians who I know who have jokes that are basically dad jokes. It all comes down to the delivery. And it's this like smarmy, like pun. And like, it's kind of like aren't I annoying kind of thing. And I don't like that. I agree that is annoying. But puns themselves, I think they're delicious when really done well.
Yes.
Like the intermediate clause. Does anyone want to fight me on this?
No, I'm in your corner on that.
I think we all agree.
Let's go.
Good. All right, now shut up and Pete asked me another question.
Are you out of Andy Meyer's questions?
I think the other question was Brock wanted to know about Oregon, and I do.
Oh
have
yeah,
Andy Meyer
totally.
question.
Well, you talked about big towns.
Wait, are you in Oregon right now?
Yeah, I am.
Where?
I live in Salem, Oregon, which is south of Portland, so it's not
okay.
Portland. So some people like it better, some people like it worse.
Portland's been fine. I don't know. It's
like a big town, right? It's not a city you can get lost in.
I will say, in my mind, Portland is like, when I think of shows there, it's bordering on the same as like New York, Atlanta, Nashville, any like big
that's
city.
kind of you. Thank you.
Well, I just mean like any big city that the shows probably won't be great. Whereas
for sure, yeah.
But like we played Eugene, I think in the 50 States book on when we did the tour of playing a show in every state in the fastest amount of time, we played Eugene, Oregon. Which fun fact, I know the Buster Keaton film, the General was filmed there, and we just watched it recently.
Yeah,
it's great. Oh man, but I won't go off on it. But we've been watching silent films recently because there's a bunch that are just public domain on YouTube.
Oh yeah,
Buster Keaton. Free. I think comedy in the last 100 years has come full circle. It is like it's The Office. It is. It's people looking at the camera, kind of shrugging, being like, "This guy," like
fourth wall.
Yeah.
It's back to the silent film.
It's nuts how I feel like comedy got like, kind of like almost like got like cheesy in the mid-century and kind of went through different waves and stuff. But it feels like, especially Buster Keaton. Charlie Chaplin's stuff is a bit more like slapstick, but Buster Keaton is like dry. And there's some slapstick elements, but he plays it so dry. Oh, it's great. Right. Anyway, I've actually been thinking about taking some of those films and doing re-soundtracking them with pocket vinyl music, or just like re-soundtracking.
And you could do it because it's public domain.
We could just do it. So I'm.
You could also do that with Steamboat Willie. Just saying. Anyway.
Also true. That with Steamboat Willie. Yeah, why not? Yeah, but it's anyway. What was I?
So Eugene's okay. Portland is the pits.
Eugene's good.
Salem is not so bad.
Bend, we've actually had a couple shows in Bend. We played at the library in Bend. That was fun.
Did you go to the Blockbuster?
Oh, that's
the last Blockbuster. Yeah,
like I said, we just
I know. No, yeah, you don't have much time. I know. Yeah.
Also, most places where it's like you got to go see this end up, it's like you have to spend money.
Yeah,
and part of the reason why Elizabeth and I have been able to be full-time musicians in the last 15 years is due to saving money where we can.
Right.
You don't pay for attractions, right?
Yeah. Sometimes we don't even pay for the hotels and just sleep in our car.
That's the way.
That's
how I do it.
That's how I knew that you and Brock would get along really well. Is because you're cut from the same cloth.
Do you do a lot of car sleeping?
I mean, not a lot, but it's become my mode. Like if I'm going somewhere, why rent a hotel? You have a perfectly good enclosed space that you're already in custody of. Yeah.
And you save $50 to $100.
That's right. And the free breakfast isn't that good.
Well,
not vegan.
It's very rarely gluten-free and vegan. So
yeah.
But they have hot water for tea.
That's true. And you can run in there and grab that without.
Yeah, but you can get that at any gas station.
Oh yeah.
By the way, just side note, Love's is probably my favorite chain.
As a truck stop.
Yeah.
As opposed to like TA or Pilot or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love's is where it's at.
Sheets is decent.
Pro Sheets over here.
Yeah, Love's is the one. I think it's Pilot that has a frustrating so I'm a tea guy, not a coffee guy, and their hot water spout is like it leaves you like for like 2 inches for a cup. It is a frustratingly small to try to get your travel mug like angled in there. I think
you need to bring your own funnel. Or tubes.
Oh, it sucks. I hate it so much.
Boo.
And I see this, I keep forgetting, and then we'll like stop someplace and I'll go in and be like, crap, that's right.
Yeah.
And I'm just like trying to like, oh man. Okay.
Well, Cinnabon is paired with Pilot, right?
I don't know. I'm also gluten free, so I don't.
Okay, so it doesn't matter.
My eyes don't see Cinnabon.
Of course.
It's just a blurry white and brown swirl.
There you go. There's just that thing over there. That congealed massive gluten.
Right.
And sugar.
It smells good. I smell the smell.
Oh yeah. Smells are free.
Yeah, that's right. When you give up stuff dietarily, no one tells you that stuff still smells good. Like hot dogs still smell great. Yeah. In my opinion. And like I'll walk by or anything, but I don't want to eat them. And anytime I do eat them now, it's been long enough that it makes my digestive system scream. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. What were we talking about?
It's okay.
I think we were talking about hot dogs and how they make your digestion. I mean, honestly, that's what I think we were talking
about. Like me to talk more about diarrhea, the four of you?
It's on brand.
Yes. Mostly where you've pooped your pants, perhaps.
Right. Our overlords, as we call them, often spend full episodes talking about that.
We've talked a little bit about it, Eric. You don't have to tell us, but have you ever pooped your pants somewhere that you didn't expect to?
Yeah, actually, so
there we go.
In third grade.
Now we're starting.
I would
introduce him.
Hi, I'm Eric from Pocket Vinyl. So in third grade, I pooped my pants.
Hi, Eric.
This is like little kid. Okay, so no, why I'm bringing this up and kind of why I'm excited about this is recently within the last year in therapy, I finally, this has stopped being a trauma for me. And I didn't even know it was a trauma necessarily before I talked about it in therapy. But so in third grade, I was holding it in and you're just like pinching, but it was the turtle was too strong and it got through a little bit. And I had some skids and I went to the bathroom and I was like, well, I don't want to wear this underwear. If I threw it away, I was like, well, my mom would be mad at me, so I have to keep it. but I didn't want to put it in my
there.
pocket
In there.
because it was like it's poopy underwear.
That's where the vinyl goes. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Plus, it was just filled with all sorts of 10 inches of me covering Aerosmith. So I took the underwear and went back. I was all alone. It was like during class, and we had shared lockers, and I shared it with these two other guys.
Yes.
And my jacket was on the back of my chair in the classroom, so I couldn't put it in the like the thicker jacket pocket.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right.
So for some reason, I hung it on a hook. And this is tighty whities. This is little kid tighty whities.
Little kid, baby. Here we go.
And I just went commando the rest of the day. This probably happened at like 10:30, 11 in the morning, something like that. And in my head, I'm like, all right, as long as I'm the first person to the locker at the end of the day, I'll be fine. Because my backpack was also in the classroom as well as my jacket. Day goes by. It's great. At the end of the day, all I remember is like putting books in my backpack, suddenly remembering the underwear, looking up at one of the guys' desk who I shared it with. It's completely empty. Looking over at the other guy's desk I share with, completely empty, thinking, no, running out into the hallway. One of them is holding up my underwear, like with like, thumb, middle finger kind of thing. And the other one is like jumping and pointing at it.
Oh, man.
And then I like was so embarrassed, and I went up and like just grabbed him out of the hand, even though like I don't know, I was third grade, you know what I mean?
Sure, right.
Yep, we've all.
But I went
there.
and grabbed him, and then it kind of is a little blurry from there. But it some of the kids called me Captain Skids for the next few years. It was,
and that's when you learn that you share a locker with them, but they're not your friends.
Well, this one kid in particular, for the next 5 to 6 years was an issue, but it's fine. Not to get into that, but here's the thing that weirdly, are you guys familiar with EMDR therapy?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. Well, I realized I'm going to explain it anyway, regardless of if you all know it for the listeners. So,
well, for our listeners, it'd be great.
It was a dumb question to ask anyway. I should have just launched right in. But so EMDR therapy, you kind of hold these two nodes that are connected to a wire to a thing, and they like vibrate back and forth in your hands. And it's as you're thinking about something and working through a memory with the therapist. It's a very intense form of therapy, but it's like the idea of it is when you get a trauma, it's like your brain calcifies as like a little kid, and by going through the trauma with like holding these nodes back and forth, it activates your left and right brain, and you talk through it with the therapist, and it kind of like massages out a calcified part of your brain,
shakes it loose.
Yeah, and you basically re-experience the trauma in a way, but processing it through your adult brain, which allows it to heal. So that's the idea of it anyway. So talking about it, the one part of this that was the most frustrating to me was that the teacher, I remember her like coming behind me and the kid who was holding the underwear, which at the moment, I guess everyone thought it was his underwear. And he was kind of like laughing, and the teacher was laughing. And I don't remember what was said, but have an authority figure laughing at me.
Right.
And in my head, I was like, you're all laughing, and other kids were laughing and stuff. And I was like, you're all laughing like this, but there's a context to this you don't understand. Like I couldn't throw it away because my mom, and this, like, there was a whole thing that made sense to me. And that feeling of not being understood is exactly the reason why I've said far more words on this podcast than anyone else. Why the reason why
I'm close. I'm close second.
Sure, right. I know, but I'm trying to beat you. Actively.
Right. I know you are, and I'm down with it.
But like, I'll often tell stories in between songs, sometimes tell context about songs and stuff, and because it instilled in me, and it's part of some other things too, but a fear of being misunderstood.
Interesting, yeah.
And a fear of not being able to explain myself, which so very much correlates with the fact that I get on stage and try to control the atmosphere in the room.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I don't know if that was maybe necessarily funny poop your pants story Eric, you're talking about,
but took this far deeper than I expected you to. I appreciate you sharing that. That's I mean, it is a traumatic experience one way or another, but it certainly, like you say, to have something formative like that at a young age,
it's not traumatic anymore. And part of the reason was because of going through it. And even though I talked about it and I joked about it before kind of going through stuff recently, like now it's, you know, I can talk about it and it's like, yeah, it was traumatic, but it's not actively traumatic as much as it was. And it helped me kind of realize that, like, oh, this is part of the reason why I do what I do. It's kind of like Doctor Strange touching the middle of my forehead and be like, like all this, like, you know, you could, my astral projection dives back and you like see all this stuff and all the connections.
And that's interesting to me, right? Because I often am similar to you. I know we've had text chains where I'm apologizing for the apology, and it comes from like childhood. For like, you know, with my family, we'd want to be we wouldn't want to be misunderstood. Like my mom is known for repeating things over and over because she wants to make sure she's understood. So that's so interesting to me because that's what I, in correlation, end up doing is I'll make fun and laugh about something, and then I'll be like, but really, and then I'll explain it like 2 or 3 times. You know?
Oh yeah,
you know,
I love it with like when you're with friends and you kind of, I'm sure, again, I've heard a little bit now, but like if you can kind of like there's like times when you can like make fun of your friends or whatever, like with them, and it's like and there's some friends who, you know, it's like it's so safe that you can really like rat on each other, and other ones where like you kind of feel like you feel like there might be a little hint of real feeling in there, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I love it anytime when I'm with friends who you feel comfortable with, of getting just like the darkest jokes and like really like, you know what I mean? I love that. But if there is a hint of me that feels like I've said something that like is a joke that maybe someone takes like seriously, I feel like I need to qualify instantly. And I mean, man, without getting into necessarily what it was, I found out through the grapevine that there was someone in a band who we played with once who misunderstood my intentions on something and thought I was it was something I didn't even realize. It wasn't necessarily a joke, but just like something that I said that wasn't that they took offense to. And I found out like later through the grade, and I still feel bad about it to this day. And trying to like, I tried to sort of reach out to them, explain it, but they kind of didn't want anything of it. And it kills me right now to know that they still misunderstand what I meant.
Yeah.
But I've talked with Elizabeth, talked with friends, like I should not continually reach out to them every day to try to and it takes so much of my own self-control to stop doing that.
Right. For
But
sure.
I'm trying to learn just to be like, it's okay if someone doesn't like you, which in my whole life for the most part I've been like, why? I can convince everyone to like me. Why should I? The people pleasing stuff, I don't know, that's tough to shake.
And this portion of A Pickle Home Companion has been brought to you by BetterHelp. Use promo code Conan.
That's right.
Well played, Pete.
Thank you so much. I was looking up to see what promo code Conan's was.
So not paying attention to my therapy story while you were.
I listened to the whole thing. It was while I was talking.
No, hey, you're not working for BetterHelp. I shouldn't expect that from you.
Good thing you guys
apologize for apologizing.
So well. Yeah, my goodness, yeah.
Oh, that's so good. Oh my goodness. Well, actually, that leads into a very good question from our boy Andy Myers.
Andy Myers.
It's our last one that we have from him currently. Having an art background, do you draw inspiration from any performance artists? A lot of their videos are very performance based. So, if you have any like performance artist inspiration,
to be honest, when it comes to performing, a lot of my performance like influences tend to be comedians.
Yeah.
And tend to be, especially when I was little, a lot of physical comedians. Like I loved like Jim Carrey, and then like Jack Black as I got older. And oh man, funny. Sorry, now I'm talking before about my poopy pants story. Thinking about therapy, I've learned that my love language is touch, and that also has informed the fact that I was attracted to like more physical comedians, and even again more recently getting into like Buster Keaton and a lot of silent film stuff, which is all physical. And so I think that maybe informs some of like the jumping around on stage and trying to be a performer. I feel like a lot of our I get frustrated with a lot of musicians, even at like arena levels, are terrible at speaking into a mic and actually talking. And so that, to me, I remember when we started, I was like, I want to get good at talking into a mic and talking to the audience. And so that, kind of taking inspiration from stand-up comedians or people who obviously speak in that regard. But yeah, I mean, in terms of like performance artists, I know Elizabeth, I don't think she thinks much about her performance physically. In fact, there have been people who've pointed out things to her that she doesn't notice herself. Like apparently she paints slower strokes when I'm playing a slower song and faster strokes when I'm playing a faster song.
I've noticed that.
Has no idea that she does that. Yeah, I don't know. Not necessarily performance artists, but just other kinds of performers, and they all tend to be kind of outside of music.
Sure.
Really. Just because I kind of think in my mind, it's what we're doing is theater.
Yeah.
And a lot of bands and musicians just kind of forget that. And they just think that like playing the song and doing the stuff, which some people that's fine with, but I don't know. You can hear our songs anywhere. It's like, I feel like you come to a show to see a piece, you know what I mean? Like to see something.
Right.
Even if it's part
show.
improvised. Yeah. I'm not sure if that exactly answers that question, but
that's a good
no, I guess is the ultimate answer.
Take that, Andy Myers. You know what? I'm sure he'll have more for you. An audio feed coming up.
I look forward to seeing you whenever we cross paths again, Andy.
Oh yeah. Really, really, really good dudes. That's cool. Thanks, Andy, for all those good questions.
How many questions from other Pocket Vinyl fans do you have?
Just Andy Myers and me.
The Pocket Vinyl fan base is a small but passionate and loyal group.
Yeah, we are. I appreciate that I can be part of that. I mean, that's half of why I wanted to have you on, Eric. I mean, you've been a friend for years, but also I'm behind what you and Elizabeth do. So I definitely want to get you out to our tens of listeners and
dude, we've played some shows to like 100 people and none of them give a crap about what we're doing. And we've played shows to like 5 people and they all walk out with like $100 of merch afterwards because they loved it. Like it's we've learned quality, not quantity, when it comes to whoever you're speaking to, and so it's like, and also to try to perform as such to those people, because even like we've done shows that like that show was terrible, no one was there, there's just like 3 people or whatever, but then one of those 3 people invites you to do this other thing later down the line, and then you play a show there, and that invites you to this thing, and all of a sudden like 5 or 6 things removed, you realize, oh, we're playing this huge festival because we played that really crappy show to 3 people 7 years ago.
Right.
And so it's all like, I don't know. I just love attention. So I'm just happy to...
Well, I mean, you're doing something right. If we have in our small niche community, if we have, an Andy Myers listening that also knows Pocket Vinyl, like and he's way across the country. Way across the country, that's pretty sweet. Like when I was down,
you've also said too, you have a few Pocket Vinyl shirts, and you've had people go up to you, be like, "Hey, Pocket Vinyl."
Well, we're gonna bring up Furnace Fest because we are a Furnace Fest podcast. I was wearing a Pocket Vinyl T-shirt down at Furnace Fest last year. No, the year before specifically, and the guy goes, "Hey, I know them." I went, awesome, all right. And he kept going, but it was like, hey, I love their music, I know them, and he kept going. I was trying to chase him down to be like, you know them, I know them.
Let's talk.
You want to talk about it more?
Yeah, can we talk? And he goes, I'm on my way to see Blindside. But it was cool when I wore one of those shirts to in our community, just to see the people that respond. So it's fun.
Yeah, no, it's like the people who get us like get it,
right?
And oftentimes, even too, there's been times where people like before a show will be like, "Oh yeah, well I play piano and sing, and she paints on stage," and people are like, "Oh, so you do like 2 different things next to each other?" And we're like, "Well, no, we do 2 different things with each other." And people are like, "Okay," and I see them like sort of accepting it, but not. I don't know. And then they'll see it, and then afterwards be like, "Oh, I get it now." And so it's like, then they're like, okay, this is, they understand where it is. And so it's like those who get it. And we're actually thinking recently that we think we might be the least famous full-time band in America.
Yeah. I was hoping to bring this up.
Yeah. I think that might be like our tagline. Like, we're the least famous yet full-time band. I have some friends in a band that have been opening up for the Black Keys and Greta Van Fleet in like Australia and internationally. And from what I heard, they like go home and they have like a coffee shop job because it's not getting paid enough. And it sucks that they have to do that, but at the same time, it's like, meanwhile, Elizabeth and I are just putting along in our Subaru Outback.
Have you come across that essay? What's the guy's name? Kevin Kelly wrote, like, the 1,000 True Fans. Have you ever seen this?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I sort of,
his concept, basically, if you have 1,000 people who will buy anything you make, you can make a living. Kind of idea of like, you don't need a huge number. You need devoted people who, as you continue to produce new things, they'll consume it. They'll buy it.
My only
and all that.
The only thing I don't like about that theory is it's like, it's like based on if 1,000 people spend $100 on your band a year. Right. I don't think I've spent $100 on any band I love any year. Like,
I have.
Yeah, but do you think even Switchfoot, Pete? Do you think you've spent $100? Do you think you spent $100 every single year on them?
Not every single year.
Right. And that's like a lot of that theory and stuff. And so I get what that theory is trying to say. And I agree. It's like, and that's, I mean, again, what's kept us afloat is like we have a small, passionate, loyal fan base. And we've been able to convince the people in the room, usually if they're like just there to get a drink or hanging out with friends, we've done a decent job at convincing them to pay attention to us and try to get on the Pocket Vinyl train. But But still, we're least famous full-time touring band in the world.
I love it.
In America. I don't know about the world. Man, even in America, I'm not really sure, but it's a good tagline.
Please, if we could write out that whole tagline as you just said, it would be perfect.
Put that whole thing on a shirt.
Yeah, put that whole, and I would buy that shirt. And then I'd be close to $100 a year for $100. That would be awesome.
I'd buy one of those shirts every year.
Oh. That's how you do it. You sell your t-shirts for $100 each.
I mean, I will say, the average painting price tends to go over $100 at least these days. And
I love watching that grow. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when we started, it was like, if we got like $25, that was pretty good. And like now, if it's like,
how do you think I got the painting?
It was
ground floor.
Yeah. Do you remember what you paid for it?
I don't, but I remember being one of like two people that bid on it.
Yeah, that was what, News Cafe, right?
News Cafe was the loudest venue I've ever seen you in.
Yeah, I remember that. That's right. Yeah. Yeah, it's been nice to see the average kind of creep up as the years went down. And it did kind of go down a little bit post-COVID, and it's been kind of, whatever. It does kind of rely a little bit on how the economy is doing, obviously, like everything. But at the same time, we're still surviving. We're still doing fine. And it's a financially meek but satisfying living. I don't know. Sometimes you just think about sometimes like you wish you had more money or more resources or more, like wish I had a record label or whatever, something. But then I don't know, you look back on it in 15 years and it's like, wow, we've been able to make things work. And now there's people I meet at shows who are like, oh, I've been listening to Pocket Vinyl for 5 years and this is my first show. And I'm like, I don't understand how that works. Because in my mind, everyone who knows Pocket Vinyl has discovers us at a show.
I went to college with you. Right.
Eric, I hope you're ready to discuss Christian ska from the 90s for about an hour and a half.
Sure.
I won't do that.
I mean, if you want, I could have an opinion about anything.
Sure, we all do.
If you want me to take like some strong, like if most of you are like for, Bob. Does anyone remember the ska band?
Oh, yeah.
I do. Ska band Bob?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
They played at Pete and I's college one time.
No way. They did?
Oh, yeah. I think it was. So small town. I grew up in the same town. It must have been I was in high school or middle school even. But yeah, they played. There was a battle of the bands they did one year and they won, I believe.
Oh, my goodness.
That's for them.
Yeah, we put them on the map.
Yeah. I like to say,
Mm-hmm.
Well,
we have you to thank.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, I didn't buy any of their merch or anything, but it was all.
But you went, and you went, great job.
Yeah, yep, I clapped on the quad.
Yep, you gave him a little pat on the back as they went by. Oh, I need a T-shirt that says "I clapped on the quad." That would be.
That was definitely a bunch of believers up there.
It almost implies a little too much enthusiasm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think we should sell it in the campus bookstore.
Maybe I politely nodded on the quad.
I walked around 4 times. Anyway, so
Nod on the quad, yeah. Eric, just an editorial note. Usually I'm more professional than this, I swear, but
I don't care. That's fine. You don't need to apologize for.
I'm in charge of my kids.
I'm
tonight,
the one that apologizes.
I'm just gonna off camera and mute out if I ever need to take care of anything with them. So
okay.
If for some reason the 1960s Batman series is no longer appealing to them, I don't know why it wouldn't be, but that'll be why I leave. Exactly. Yep. Adam West.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Can we all watch now?
Do you want to? Hang on.
No one gets tired of boobs and pals.
Pete, I've told you this before. I take everything literally.
Don't let the children.
Remember let the children see the podcast. Yeah.
I know.
Nice.
And potentially my children's first appearance on a podcast. Maybe.
Oh no, they've been on before.
Okay, never mind.
On this one,
potentially their second appearance on a podcast.
I was gonna say, for you to say maybe my kids have been on another podcast, it feels like something you should know as a parent. Like, I don't know, they're just running around, they're out, getting into all kinds of podcast trouble.
You know, kids these days.
Yeah, it's you
give them one little mic and a set of headphones, and you never know.
With their TikToks and their podcasts.
I lost them for 3 hours the other day, and they turned out they're on Pod Save America for most of that time, and I just had no idea. So
we told them to come back when the streetlights are on, but they were like, "But I'm on Pod Meets World."
Sitting at the playground, everybody with a mic in hand. Yeah.
Well, what am I going to tell Joe, Mr. Rogan, that has all these things that I can't just leave in the middle of a conversation?
We talk about the things you don't understand, Dad. Yeah.
I'm imagining the conversation my son at 6 years old would have with Joe Rogan, and they're both libertarians. Like they both don't want to be told what to do.
Right? Yeah. In a way, you could say that all humans start as libertarian.
Yeah.
Except that they need someone to take care of their every need.
I was going to say, then they mature.
Well, technically, it wasn't illegal to ride the goat through the drive-through. So anyway, moving on.
Right.
There was no sign against it.
Totally permissible.
There's no rule that says a pig can't play basketball. You guys,
didn't see a sign that said it couldn't.
No.
Have you all seen Air Bud? I mean, I rest my case.
What about Aliens?
Wait, what about Aliens?
Yeah, what about Aliens?
No, I'm talking about Space Jam. They play basketball too. If they can play basketball.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
I thought you meant more generally.
Not just Air Bud the dog.
Space Jam.
Canines, extraterrestrials, all kinds of people.
Space Jam.
Yeah.
To be fair, I don't know if the aliens. I mean, they played at basketball, but only after they stole powers. You know what I mean? In a way, they were riding like flesh mechs.
Intrinsically, they didn't have the ability. Right? They had to take that from somebody else.
Right.
And that's worth noting.
I want to thank you all for continuing to talk so that Kevin can put that in the left ear.
Yep.
That's what we do here. We make noise, and sometimes it's separated, and sometimes it's mono.
So I know you're relatively new to our podcast, but I often launch into, well, you know me as a friend. I often launch into song, and they just put me over in the left ear and let me do my thing. So continue on with your thought as I just sing the Space Jam.
Can you believe that, Eric? Can you believe that he does this?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Do you know the lyrics to Buggin', the last song on the Space Jam soundtrack?
Ooh. No, do you?
Bugs Bunny raps.
Oh, yo, Bugs Bunny raps. I think you need to go over the left ear.
Can you reproduce it?
No, I don't. It's I think they just say like you're bugging, like that's like the chorus.
Is it offensive?
And we've found our outro song.
Yeah, I think bugging is some sort of slur in the Looney Tunes world. But he
does say all right fuzz face, so that's pretty hardcore.
I find that offensive.
Yeah.
As a bearded person, right?
Right.
I think all of you find that offensive. I'm the only one who can't.
That's right.
Even Brock finds it a little offensive.
Just a smidge, yeah.
Oh, got a girlfriend Lola. She's a fox. Look, he's covering all kinds of ground in here.
Let's fact check that. Technically, she's a bunny.
Are you? You got the lyrics?
Jared, please give us a dramatic reading.
Yeah.
You want more of this?
Yeah,
Ain't
please.
no bunny like the one I got. That's true. What's up, Doc? Bugs got more props than the Warner Brothers lot.
More props than the Warner Brothers lot.
How would you pronounce Twuee?
Twee. Yeah.
That's a
like
terrible
Tweety
way to
Bird?
spell twee, though.
Isn't it like Tweety? Like
That
Tweety?
U is unnecessary.
It's
Right.
silent. It's silent. It's Norwegian.
Superfluous.
Are you sure it's not just a typo within the whoever wrote the lyrics on that website?
So then the next one, it's
I think
you know,
he's
it's
looking
Google.
at the actual CD insert. I think that's what they printed right there.
Hold on, I can go get my CD insert. I do have.
They
the soundtrack.
did re-release the soundtrack on vinyl.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
I know.
they did,
I almost bought it from your record establishment.
yeah, the Telegraph. I know they have a copy.
There's politics in this rap song, guys.
Is that right?
Because more money than that any rapper's voice, it's gotta be any, fits Bay one hand, his and her fist first, like Trump's wife, up to my ears and carrots.
Is that right?
Wait,
This was 1996. Which
meant
wife
It
was that?
was
Bugs
Which
Bunny
wife?
raps about Trump.
Yeah.
Which wife was that? Let's see, 96. That would have been.
Fact check, please.
Oh, Marla Maples. Marla Maples.
Okay.
Everyone. Okay.
All right.
This is a good line, though. I'm skipping around, guys. Hey, what more can I say? The less, the better. I'm the coolest rabbit, Doc Holliday. I'll be your Huckle Bunny, unmatched wit. That's a pretty good line right there.
That's not bad.
Oh, wow.
It was more in the
I'll
that
be
was in
your
the zeitgeist
Huckleberry.
at the time more.
Run with the Toon Stars, show us love. Peace to Lola, Daffy, Elmer Fudd, the Roadrunner to rub a dust off. Peace to Wile E. Coyote and Foghorn Leghorn. Sylvester, Tweety, the rest of the gang. On Tree, the Toon Squad got the best game.
Wow.
What type of Mickey Mouse organization goes to Disneyland? That's also funny.
It always makes me laugh whenever someone's like calling out people and they like do names, and then they go like and everyone else, because I want like there's a next name, you know what I mean? Like there's someone
Right.
And my posse.
They're sitting there like listening, like they're like, yeah, all right.
Oh, here
nuts.
comes my name.
I'm
Yeah.
listening.
Well, it's like I don't know who's gotten married before, but if like making a like trying to figure out who comes to your wedding, there has to be a cutoff point, and it sucks.
And then the apology tour
It does.
begins.
Yeah.
I know, and it's
Mhm.
terrible, but like you got to think the same thing happens when you start naming names in like rap songs, especially if it's a like a call out, like friendly, like saying peace.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, this one at the end, though, the last bit. Wait a minute, we're stopping. What is this? Oh, so that's what's going on here. Let's all diss the duck.
Oh.
And we're done.
Okay. All right.
Guess what Genius.com is telling me about this? Who wrote this?
Who?
Who the ghostwriter?
I mean, is it the goat? Is it Kendrick?
Jay-Z. How about that? Jay-Z
Really?
wrote
Real.
these lyrics.
For
Yes.
real.
So he's the one who made the line of who
Wow.
not to include.
It's
Yeah.
true. We can blame Jay.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so then who wrote for LeBron's Space Jam? I mean, we didn't know we were going here, but here we are. I mean,
Oh,
Right,
what's the
yeah.
soundtrack to the new Space Jam?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see it.
it was good. I
I
enjoyed
did not
it.
either.
Yeah?
I'm not surprised that you did, though, Pete. I gotta say.
Thank you.
Does
Thank
feel
you.
on brand for you.
It really does. I had Bulls everything in fourth grade. So everybody get
Lil
up.
Baby and Kirk Franklin did a song together on the new one called We Win.
I love that
There
we're
we
going
go.
down this road.
And it's true. We do.
This is great. Chance the Rapper with John Legend. Come on.
Oh.
Lil Uzi Vert's on here. The Jonas Brothers, because why not? Dame Dalla, G-Eazy, P-Lo. Look at all these people. Leon Bridges, really? That's random.
All right, so if all y'all want to go and just pause where you're at right now, go watch Space Jam: A New Legacy,
Uh-huh.
and then come back and
Come
stay
right
for the
back.
fun.
The whole
right.
thing.
Just so you have context for all the inside jokes.
Or pick it up on Blu-ray. Promo code Squid.
Promo code Squid.
For 10% off.
And the soundtrack on
Collide Records.
On Collide Records promo code Church Jams now. Eric, we came up with this idea that we're going to just give the promo codes of other podcasts on our podcast.
Yeah, no, that's a good way.
No one loses it. I mean, we're the only ones that lose. We don't make any money from this, but the other podcasts do.
Yeah.
So,
and should we ever recruit sponsors, then there's, it looks like we're trying already.
Are you actively trying to recruit sponsors?
No.
I mean,
you don't have any like ad breaks or anything that like
nah.
Okay.
I mean, just
real ones. Yeah,
sounds very professional.
I mean, Lego brand cereal has been a sponsor before.
Oh yeah, Lego cereal.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, be careful of the
Very
toy
crunchy.
inside, I guess.
Yeah. What do you think happened to me? Okay, all right.
You don't want to step on it.
I love the holding back of laughter is my favorite part. All right, continue.
Pete,
yeah.
Wait, sorry. Can I tell a real quick story? No, but
table that story really quick. I wanted to. I know Brock, you have to go.
Yeah, sorry.
No, you're totally fine. You're totally fine. Brock, if you could give us a Eric, feel free to hang out because we have the Brockless podcast coming up next.
I hear it's the best part.
It really is the best part. That's on our Patreon.
Is this how it usually goes?
Yeah, this is actually how it usually goes. Brock, if you could give us that sweet, now rehearsed outro.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, no, for sure. I like that. I can make you laugh just by waiting.
I do love it. Your comedic timing is spot on.
That's the news from Lake Scabagon, where all the pockets are strong, all the vinyl is good looking, and all of the tours to all 50 states are above average.
Yes, onward, pickle soldiers.
51 perfect episodes. Yeah,
gentlemen, a pleasure. Eric, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Brock. It's been a pleasure. Next time we come through Oregon.
Thank you for being here. I hope I was not too much a jackass, and I hope you had a good time.
Yeah, thanks. I hope next time we come through Oregon, we're able to cross paths sometime.
Well, next time we will. You'll be in Salem.
Yeah, yes, we will.
All right. Cheers.
All right, see ya.
See you, Brock.
See you, Brock. Welcome back to the Brockless edition of the Pickle Home Companion.
Now we're starting.
Now we're actually starting.
Nice and warmed up.
And we're here with Eric from Pocket Vinyl. All right.
Yes, hello again.
Yeah. So what's crazy, and I want to hear this story. What's crazy is Brock is on the West Coast, and he goes and he leaves us first.
Yeah, I was gonna say what it's like
every episode.
It's 7:45 there. He probably has to put his kids to bed. Right?
And that's why he has two young kids that he puts to bed. But it just makes us laugh every time.
So Pete, I there's something I don't know why. This is like one of those memories that. This isn't embarrassing or anything like that.
I'm fine with it if it is.
It's more of, in my mind, it's an example of you, yes-anding and accepting me for who I was in all my kind of weirdness at the time. I think had run into each other once or twice just from me being in Houghton.
Sure. Yeah.
And you just have always had a very distinct look with you. You somehow pull off the goatee, regardless of the fact that has not been in vogue for most people in the last 10, 15 years. But
I love it. Yes.
No, but even at Houghton, you've maintained a look.
Yeah.
And so I kind of knew you just as by sight. But I remember one time, I think you were when I was a freshman, and you were involved with like incoming freshman events or whatever.
Yep.
And I remember I made it was like a dumb joke of I had some slice orange soda. And I remember I made some joke of like, can you ever have a full can of slice? Because it's slice. So
not whole.
Right. Again, throw away like a dumb thing.
It probably derailed me, didn't it?
Well, you just looked at me and you're like, yeah, that's a really good question. I don't know. Can you have a full can of slice? And then you kind of like yes-anded me in terms of like asking some people and like went along with it. And in retrospect, when I think about that story, I'm a little like just embarrassed of myself of like, I don't know, I was pushing it, but I'm also very flattered and I find it very charming that you like. That's maybe my earliest memory of our interaction together. Of you just being like, yeah, I don't know. Can you have a full can of slice? And then like we like were posing it to people, and you were the one being like, yeah, well, it's slice though. It's not a whole thing. So how can you have a whole can of slice? And I don't know. I think very fondly on that, and just as I think that was a great. To me, it's a great indication of who you are, of like someone who's just you're just kind of on board to be kind of silly, and did that. So very much with like all right, yeah, let's do this. And so I don't know. Thanks for if that moment hadn't happened, who knows if we would be here today.
I'm responsible for Pocket Vinyl.
That is exactly what I'm saying. I don't think I played piano before that happened.
That was the main point of the story. Yes.
No, I appreciate that. I do. I don't remember that story specifically, but that is like in my brand of humor. And whenever somebody would pose a question like that, I would be like, let's think about that. That's very interesting. So I love the fact that that I took it and ran with it. That's great.
Yeah. I do remember my freshman year. I was obsessed with like thinking of questions for like this kind of like sort of would you rather type stuff, but not quite. Like I remember thinking I was to write a book someday of just questions, and one was like, if you had a baby that had a very protective skin around it and it enjoyed being drop kicked, would you go to the park and drop kick your baby in front of other people if the baby liked it and like had a good time? That's the only one I just remember talking and like debating that with friends. It's the dumbest. It's a stupid question, but that's the one I remember from that time.
That's so good.
Which I now pose to you, Jared. Would you drop kick 100%. That baby?
Yeah, absolutely. That baby is having a good time. Why would you not?
Kevin?
Oh, yeah.
Why would you not?
Right, but in front of other people, the cops might be called.
They might. And I'd be like, here,
it's the world as we know it now. This is not like
that giggling face.
Here, you try.
Yeah, you hear those laughs? Those are natural. That's not crying.
Right, but do those laughs hold up in? But do those laughs hold up in court?
Very possibly not. Mind your own business, ladies. I'm just playing my kid.
We're just playing a game of punt.
Being a good dad, is that against the law?
They like it.
Playing with your children, is that not what I'm supposed to be doing with my time, sir?
I'm what they call a good parent, Ossifer.
That smile on her face.
I like that you gendered the baby. It was a gender neutral baby, but I guess
yeah.
Do you have only daughters?
I only have daughters, so yeah,
okay.
That's just
there
like my
go.
default.
Yeah,
two
no,
daughters,
that makes sense.
So. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah.
And it's often frustrating. So on our album Rabbit on Fire, some of those songs we wrote over, it was like a 4.5 year process, probably, with like practicing and writing that one. A month before we went into the studio, I showed the guys this song that I had that was sort of a joke called Chair From Your Bones.
Oh, yeah.
And it's 2 minutes. And I just talk about how I'm going to make a chair from your bones and whatever. It's the shortest song on the album. It was like the last one we kind of right before we went into the studio. And it's our #1 song on Spotify right now. And is like the one that people like the most. And I'm like, yeah, but what about this other song that took like 4.5 years to finally finalize? And people are like, yeah, no, that's fine, but the one you guys wrote in 15 minutes, that's the one I really liked. And that's that's happened more than once. And it's sometimes frustrating when you're like, but I spent so long with these other songs, those good. And then at the same time, it reminds me of just the magic that music can have sometimes, of just appearing very suddenly, yet sometimes being the best thing that other people think you've done.
Sure.
Yeah. It's such a, I don't know. That's my favorite, when music can be that magical, mystical thing. Far too often, sometimes I feel like I get lost in the math of music. I don't know about you guys, but like, you know, you're hearing it and verse, yeah, okay, and then there's the pre-chorus, then there's the chorus, yeah, then it's going back, and then the bridge is obviously going to that chord, and you can like kind of hear what's coming before it happens.
Right.
And even when writing, I sometimes will get lost in like the math of like, okay, well, I need to write this section. And okay, yeah, well, it's obvious I could go to that chord, but that's always the chord that people go to after this chord. But then sometimes, and that song Chair From Your Bones is only 3 chords, and it's a 1-4-5. It's the most basic of chords, but something about it is kind of magical and clicks with people, and I don't know. It's weird and great and dumb and all at the same time.
It's cool to see what catches for sure.
Yeah. Guys, I got to be honest. I think my voice is starting to get to the.
You're good, man. No worries at all.
Yeah.
We're gonna ask you your time frame, so I completely understand and respect it.
Yeah. No. It's. I mean, how late do you guys usually stay up talking?
Oh, it's unhealthy.
So we kind of just go, and when we have a natural break, then we say, all right.
All right. Well, at least for me, I think I'm gonna kind of head out. But thank you guys so much. This has honestly been
this was fun.
So much fun. Oh yeah.
Good.
No.
And it was nice to actually talk to you, like not having to like
scream
over like the band that's blasting.
Yeah. Kevin, I completely agree. I look forward to whenever we cross paths again.
I was going to try and scream in the background just to see if you could, hype it up, but I decided not to because my voice is also gone.
Jared, we will be. We're still working on tour dates, but we'll be coming down through North Carolina in the fall.
Be on the lookout. Cool.
Yeah, if we can cross paths, that'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, and guys, this honestly, this was really, really fun. Far too often, and this, I don't know, this is more, well, whatever, you can include this one, but like far too often I feel like interviews that I do, because we're such a small band, I don't mind talking about ourselves, but it's like they tend to be like journalist students who are just asking the most like basic of questions, and like you just kind of I don't know, it's just fun to just kind of like shoot the shit and have fun. So thank you very much for Pete for inviting me, and Jared and Kevin, thanks for just being willing to talk to little old me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
If anyone listening just remembers the name Pocket Vinyl, put that into whatever search bar at the streaming service. We really looked out. There's nothing else on the internet called Pocket Vinyl. I'd recommend Rabbit on Fire or You Never Say Goodbye When You Leave.
Yeah.
If you want kind of like the main Pocket Vinyl sound. If you really like lo-fi noise rock, listen to our leaked demos from 1990, known to be the first music ever leaked on the internet.
There it is.
Yeah. Sweet. And available on cassette through Taz Records. Taz Tapes, I mean.
Taz Tapes, yeah.
So good. Yeah, and the Turing Test is Elizabeth's comic. There's a movie on YouTube called Drive, Play, Sleep, which is all about small touring bands that we made.
It's really good. I have it on DVD, but you can watch. It's very cool that you can watch it on YouTube.
When I think soon after the pandemic hit, we decided to throw that up there.
It's very smart. Yeah, very smart.
It's seriously like I said earlier, we have like between 11 and 16 records, depending on what you count. I mean, over 200 or 300 songs we've released. It's sometimes hard to plug anything because there's a whole extended universe. We have secret albums that you have to find by solving puzzles.
So fun.
We have a dumb like.
So great.
Sometimes I like to say, I want to make Pocket Vinyl like a Legend of Zelda game as a band, to where there's sort of always more you can explore and things you can find and all sorts of stuff. So I don't know, wherever if you just remember the name Pocket Vinyl, put that into a search engine, start wherever you can lead yourself down many a different rabbit hole.
It's fun.
Yeah,
it's fun. And definitely, I want people to know more about you. So it's very cool.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you talking about it. Like I said, it's we're the least famous full-time tour like band in America, and but it's all because of people like you, Pete, or even just you guys, Kevin and Jared, who are able to give us a chance and give us some attention for a little bit. And even if this is only going out to a small number of people, I don't know, who knows, maybe they're the ones who enjoy this kind of stuff, and then they'll be on board the train, and the train will just keep going with all the rest of us on here.
Sure. And it's been fun for us to see like where our reach is, so you never know who's going to listen, so it's fun. So besides Andy, if there's anyone else who's heard of Pocket Vinyl, reach out to them and let them know, just for the fun of it, just to see.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Please let us know, because Pocket Vinyl is the best band you never heard of. There you
go. Yeah. I'll take that.
Eric, honestly, I appreciate you. I love you, and I'm glad you came on, And please, down the road, we'd love to have you back.
Anytime you guys are like, oh, hey, we want to do whatever thing, and we need someone with who will take a strong opinion that they don't really care about, but they'll argue for it. Please. I'd love to come back and hang out with you guys. So
awesome, man.
I look forward to hanging out with all of you in real life soon.
Yes, brother. We'll see you May 2nd.
All right. Yeah. Cool. I'll see you then.
Brother. All right, buddy.
Good night, guys.
Right,
bye.
man.
My best to Elizabeth. See ya.
Oh, will do. Yeah. Bye.
Yeah. Thank you. Oh, so good to have Eric on.
Yeah, that's fun.
That was fun.
He's one I've been most excited to have on. He and his partner Elizabeth. Oh, two great people. I joke with them about the best band you've never heard, but honestly, I wish more people heard them because they're great duo. Great. I mean, actually more than duo now, but just at their core, those two are quality bunch. So I'm stoked to get the word out, on them.
Yeah, I definitely want to check out the graphic novel and a bunch of other stuff. So
that movie is really cool too. Yeah.
Yeah. I was looking at a bunch of the art prints and things like that today while I was at work, and I was like, "Oh, I like that. I kind of want to buy that. Oh, I like that one too." Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's so cool to just see that they're continually putting out quality work, and to see them just thriving, is and continuing to do it as a full-time gig, is so cool, so cool. So yeah, check out their stuff. Check out the definitely check out the graphic novel. I mean, I know they go around and put them in little libraries too. So if you're in a little library near you, like those little neighborhood libraries, it might be there. Who knows? But it's How to Completely Lose Your Mind, a graphic novel memoir of one indie band's attempt to break a world record. It's a page turner. It's a graphic novel, and I can't read big words, so graphic novels are up my alley.
And keep an eye out if you happen to be in a public restroom. If you see a touring test sticker,
send us a picture.
Yeah, send a picture. Like, shoot us a message on Instagram or call the Squid line. To get a hold of us somehow. That'd be awesome.
So good.
We need some stickers to put in bathroom stalls, guys.
Yeah, we need Pickle Home Companion stickers.
That was my takeaway. We need stickers to put in bathroom stalls.
And also a flyer for, hey, here, you throw this away.
Yep.
We've got a guy who's on that.
Yeah, we do. Our street team.
That's right. I believe in him. Them, all of them. The army. The pickle soldiers.
Yeah, the pickle
all
soldiers.
the pickle soldiers out there.
So does that mean Josh
pounding
Wall
the pavement?
Is he an admiral in the pickle army now, or is
that's admirals are on the
moving up the
ocean,
ranks?
So I think he's like a general or a corporal or a sergeant,
general,
commandant.
Oh,
that's also the
all
Navy,
right.
I think, though. So I don't know. We have to assign our soldiers titles and rank. Yeah.
So
but he's
good.
definitely got the most stars. Do you get stars when you're in a pickle army? What do you think you get?
Pickles, boots. You get boots.
He's a 4 boot general.
We need more
Pickle
boot
Army.
content. Joe wants more boot content, but
he's not wrong. It's wildly asymmetric. A lot of pickle content, and very little boot content.
What are you gonna do?
Talk about boots, probably.
Talk about boots.
Yep.
Talk about boots.
Things.
Boot, scoot, and boogie. Boot, scoot, and boogie.
That's right. All right. We did it.
Well, hey, another perfect podcast.
So good at this. Can't believe we keep doing it one after another.
Oh, guys, it's a pleasure.
You'd think we'd start slipping, but we don't.
Nope.
All right. I love it.
All right, later.
All right, gentlemen.
man.
See ya.
Good night.
Welcome back.
Here we go.
To the Kevin-less edition of a Pickle Home with a Companion.
That's right. Now the show is really going to start. Thanks for warming it up, guys.
Thanks for staying, because I was hoping I was thinking you were going to close it, and I'm like, I just have to at least have 5 seconds of this.
Exactly. That's the progression. That's the fun.
Just to make the guys laugh,
Right?
I call up the moon for a little consultation. Yes, you know that I'm a happy man, but something in me's burning. Gotta push it out, push it out, push it out. So much frustration. The moon called me back and said, I'll give you some advice. You gotta live a little.
Do any of you guys have kids?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I don't either. So I can.
Thank you. Finally, representation.
Yeah. Agreed, Pete. That's part of the reason why we've been able to stay friends for all these years. It's because we haven't been distracted by a bunch of rugrats running around.
Welcome to the proud. No, welcome to the Proud Uncle Club. Proud Uncle Club, but no thanks.
I thought you were going to say Proud Boys for a quick sec there.
No! Welcome
This podcast took a real weird turn.
Woo! All right. Proud Uncle Club. Oh,
Well,
it's so
about
good.
time to actually close the podcast out, right?
I was either going to say we either stop the recording process to not kill Kevin, or we call it a night.
I am ready to go to bed.
No, so am I. I'm very close to that as well. So
all right, man.
Cool, man. We'll be in touch for sure, as always.
Sounds good.
All right. Sleep well.
All right. Later.
Onward, pickle soldier. All right. See you later, everybody.
See you, man. Okay. Now they're all gone. Finally. 50 episodes of doing this, 51, whatever it is. When we started this and we said we were going to be a companion to the Pickle and Boot Shop, I thought that meant we were going to talk about pickles and boots. Like, I thought we were going to be serious and have real conversations about pickles, about boots, the history of the different options, our opinions, what's happening in boots right now, what's happening in pickles right now. Here we go. We've been talking about random nonsense. Now that those other guys aren't with me, I'm going to get back to our original point. Pickles, boots. Let's start with boots. Now let's talk about a different kind of boots. There's cowboy boots, which are a specific style of riding boot, historically worn by cowboys, where they get their name. High-heeled, that's traditionally made of stacked leather, rounded to a point. Leather can be all sorts of things. Cowhide leather, exotic skin like alligator, snake, ostrich, whatever. It goes on and on. There's two basic styles. The Western, which is your like classic cowboy boot, or there's the Roper, which is that where Reese got his name? Is it the Pickle and Boot Shop because Reese is the boot? Is Joe the pickle? Is Yerky like gherkin? Joe and Reese, Roper, Pickle and Boot? That's got to be it, right? Joe the pickle, Reese the boot. Anyway, the Roper's the newer style of boot. And then you also have throughout the history the riding boots, which are part of equestrian life. And it's just till today in the modern era, I don't know if we have the same work functions, but there's still a lot of boots out here. So everybody just settle in with some warm chamomile tea, a comfy chair, and let's talk about boots. Here we go.